I'm pretty much a pro at this point. And I didn't have myself on camera to come off after that. So, hey, thanks for putting up with me and thanks for joining us on a Thursday night here. I have another fun guest on here for the movie club. I appreciate every single one of you jumping out here, whether it's live for the full thing, part of it, or coming in for a replay of this. Always a good time. And that's one reason why I always love doing these live streams, is being able to connect with everybody and jump out here and talk about it. But anyway, I'm not going to waste too much time. I got a great guest on here that is a long time in the making, mostly on my part. But we got, I'm going to bring on out, we got Jimmy from Scottish Geek Guy. How we doing, man?
How we doing? I'm good. Thanks, mate. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, we first touched base 6 or 9 months ago, thinking, yeah, we should do a live stream together, and it's taken this long to do it, you know.
And I'll put blame on myself. And I think we were talking backstage a little bit too, where we both can feel this. And I think a lot of people can relate to this too, where life, work, family, things like that just start happening, and all of a sudden, it's like a time vacuum. All of a sudden 6 months goes by and it was like, oh yeah, I said, yeah, we probably should do this.
Yeah. I mean, don't take all the blame, you know. I'll take like 12% of the blame, you know.
I'm good with that. We can do that. We could do that.
We'll time zone play a part as well, because it's like 11 p.m. for me, but like what, 5 or 6 p.m. for you or something like that.
Yeah. So where I'm at right now, I'm just after 5. So So where I'm at, we're about 6 hours difference. So, and first, meaning that too, I'm going to say, I appreciate you being flexible with the time, so much too. I want to make it as convenient for my guests as possible. I had some life stuff come up, you know, where it kind of threw my schedule off a little bit. So I appreciate you being flexible with a little bit later start time.
It's all good, mate. It's all good. That's like between 11 and 1 a.m. is like when I do most of my YouTube stuff anyway. Like that's when once everyone's in bed, that's when I'll like record my videos, like, you know. So like if I'm not on a live stream at this point, I'm usually recording something or watching someone else's live stream. So like it's funny because I've kind of tuned into a good few of your live streams, and it's, you know, it's a few people are like, why, like, is it not like midnight in the UK? And I'm like, yeah, but you know, that's when I get my best work done, because, you know, I'm not a morning person. I'm definitely a night owl. And you know, we've got three kids in the house of, you know, various ages, but like, you know, once they're all in bed, I get peace and quiet to, you know, to do my stuff, which is, you know, the YouTube stuff.
Absolutely. And I was very similar. I'm a little older. My kids are a little older, and, you know, so but I can completely relate to that stage in life where there were so many times where before I was even doing this, you know, my movie watching, you know, some movies that were not going to be ones I'm going to watch in front of the kids, it happened at those hours, you know, like you waited until you had that time with them. I didn't want to take away from time being with the kids. And it sounds like, you know, same with you. As soon as they went to bed, you know, those night owl type hours is when you fit in those movies you're going to watch or doing this now.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I'm a terrible parent, and that there's not much I won't let the kids watch, to be honest. Like you know, I mean, like I'm not going to let them watch The Terrifier, but you know, like my kids are they're 8, 11, and 14.
Okay.
The 14-year-old, like, it's fine with, like, you know, anything really.
Really?
Like one of her favorite movies is Scream. So, you know,
that's a great movie though. That's a great movie.
She's probably watched that more than I have.
That's a great movie.
And like we literally watched it 2 nights ago, I think, and that's probably like her 50th time watching it. So, you know, but like I grew up on watching movies of various age ratings. Like I remember getting Predator on VHS for my 10th birthday or something like that, you know. So we were we're quite free with, you know, the movie watching stuff. But like I said, things like Terrifier, I would not show them that.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you too. And but I think it's funny that you say that though, because I think we all have those stories of some relative giving us a gift at some point. I remember getting gifts of VHS tape at some point in my life, and they did not know what the movie was, you know, and I'm like young Corey, and I get the, you know, the VHS of RoboCop, and I'm like, you know, or something where, you know, today it might be pretty tame, but, you know, at the time I was watching it, my eyes are just like this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, I can't believe they just bought this for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny as well because like I'm not sure if it's I know it's not the exact same in the States, but like here in the UK, the movie rating system is very obvious because the number is on it. So Predator, like you've got a Predator poster I can see in the background there. Like the VHS cover of that in the UK is that poster, and then at the bottom right is a big red circle that says 18, as in you need to be 18 to watch this. So
Yeah.
it's not like you know your parents or your aunties or uncles or whoever buys it. It's not like they could mistakenly think this is a PG because it's literally says 18. I just think that generation didn't really care about stuff like that. And I'm kind of like a little bit, not that I don't care, like, but it's movie specific, but it's also child specific. Like, like I mean,
there's different levels of
exactly. Like my youngest, well, I don't think would ever have nightmares at movies, but the middle child, who's just about to turn 11, like he would, like I would be more hesitant to let him watch a scary movie than I would the 8-year-old, because it's like every kid's different, every movie's different. So the whole, the rating system is like, I get why it exists, but it's it's down to the parent to make the call.
I would agree with that completely. It's a cautionary, like kind of like throwing out, this is kind of what we think, but then you make the judgment for the particular child that you have if they're ready for it. Yeah. And I agree. Every kid is different. You raise them all the same, but they all are different.
Yeah.
Personalities, what they can watch and not watch. They all develop differently.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
So I got 21 and 18.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm old. So
you're like, so what age are you? What age are you?
48.
You don't look 48, mate. You don't look 48.
Thank you. Well, as I'm growing the beard out, I probably look more of it with, I got more of the white and the gray going on.
I was going to say the beard is a little bit new, and that does add a few years, but in a good way, in a distinguished way. I'm the same.
Thank you.
I've got like a bit
little salt and pepper there.
Yeah. It's funny. I originally grew a beard back in my early 20s because I looked so young.
And to make you look older.
I was running my own business, and people and I felt people in the corporate world didn't take me seriously because I looked. So I was 21, 22, running my own video production company, and I think people just thought I was like some daft wee 17-year-old because I looked 17. So that's genuinely why I first grew a beard, was to look older, to be more accepted in the corporate business world.
Yep. No, absolutely.
And now it's just like, if I was to shave it, I would look like a completely different person.
Well, I had some different reasons too, where, we're going into, and I'm sure you get that as well through the winter months. We get pretty brutal cold weather, where I live, through the winter months. So it doesn't bother to have a little extra, insulation on the face. But, my daughter is actually going through cosmetology school, like for hairdressing, haircutting, things like that. And
are you a test subject?
I am actually. So I go in to get my haircuts from her, and she does different things. She gets kind of like points through her school, and one of them is trimming a beard. So I'm like, well, that's my excuse. I can grow a beard out this winter, and she can test that out. And if it messes up, it's no big deal because I'll probably shave it off anyway after we're all done. But if you don't mind, we got a lot of people jumping out here in the chat. I wouldn't mind just running through it real quick.
I was literally going to say that because I've got the separate chat window open there, and there's lots of people chiming in. So let's dive in.
I always try. I'm still a rookie with this and trying to balance the whole thing of having the conversation with the guests I have on, and the reason I love doing these live chats is people coming out here and saying hi. So we got Adrian James in here saying, "Hey there, fellas! Thanks for jumping in." Sorry if I'm behind everybody. That's how I go. But Movie Hunter, evening everyone. Thanks for jumping in. We got Hall and Oates in here saying, "Hey, Wilkman and Scottish Geek Guy." Saying hi back and forth to everybody. I always love seeing it. Regari. We got Henry in here saying, "What's up, Corey?" Thanks, sir. Saying hi to each other. I always love all the highs back and forth too. Everybody just comes in here. It's kind of like walking into you'd say maybe a pub, or whatever, where everybody knows each other, and you just start saying like, "Hey, how's it going?" Jeff, what's going on? Jeff, John Doe Juggalo saying, "Good evening, everyone."
John Doe Juggalo, that's an awesome username.
I know, right?
John Doe Juggalo, John Doe Juggalo. Yeah, you can't say that one 3 times fast.
I mess it up every single time. That's why I love his real name is just Jeff, and I go with that a lot of times just because my tongue gets tied pretty often with that. And even with my name, I probably would have done it differently if I'd restart this, but hey, that's all right. We got Maria in here saying, hey, Corey. Thanks, Maria, for jumping in. I'm going to run through just some of the highs back and forth. I just want to at least say hi to anybody that I've not said hi to. If I miss anything, not on purpose, you always can throw it back in there if I'm fumbling through this. But Mark, how is it going? Saying hello, everyone.
How are we doing?
Saying hi to Adrian. Sam, what's going on? Our Life in Horror saying, hey, Corey and everyone. Sam and Brendan, but I'm pretty sure that's Sam at this moment.
So. I think I follow them as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're great. They're great. A lot of people in here, you'll see their names in here. There's quite a few, not everybody, but quite a few people have things they're doing on their own as well, and all great people to hang out and meet. And I'll say that too. When if you have not run across Jimmy with Scottish Geek Guy, I have a lot of his links in the description of this video. Please go sub up, check him out. That's all I got to say is a lot of this thing with the whole YouTube crazy thing. It's so hard to run into people, and it doesn't cost you anything to go check it out for a little bit. So go sub up, check out some of the content. It might be your next favorite channel. If not, you're not out much, just a couple minutes, right?
Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you.
But, and that's in all sincerity too, because there's a lot of people I've met doing that same thing where I really enjoyed their content, but I only met them because of being through another live stream that I was in the chat checking out. So, saying hi to each other. I'm going to skip through some of the highs back and forth really quick, just to keep it going, but I appreciate this so much. I hope you all keep on chiming in tonight. Like I said, if I miss anything, not on purpose, but just kind of keeping the conversation going. Prince, what's going on? 6 a.m. p.m. Good morning, Jimmy. Yeah, your morning, but
it's what time are we right now? Yeah, so it's just 11:15 p.m. 11:15 p.m. for me right now.
Yeah. Oh, Sam, you're close to bedtime. I like to sleep at 9 p.m. Oh man, there's so many movies I watch after 9 p.m. every night.
Yeah, like I normally I'll if I'm not working or editing late or anything, like I'll try and if I can be finished with everything and throw a movie on before 11 p.m. then I can watch a movie each night. So that's kind of 11 p.m. is when, like, if I'm not actually doing a YouTube video or anything like that, I'll try and be finished without anything I'm doing, so I can throw on a movie at 11, be in bed for 1-ish. That's the usual routine,
Oh yeah.
Unless it's like, a Lord of the Rings or Killers of the Flower Moon or something, then I need to block off.
You need 3 or 4 hours.
I need an evening to consume that.
We are very similar in a lot of that. And I will keep a lot of 90-minute movies in my back pocket. Yeah. Do you do that too, where it's like
100%?
Okay.
I'm not going to watch this. I've got 2.5 or 3 hours. So I'll get I'll save that for that. Whereas if it's like a 90-minute comedy, I'm like, no, I'm going to save that for when it's like midnight and I'm throwing a movie on, and then I can still be in bed relatively early for me. Yeah, totally. I'll genuinely jump on IMDb. And I'll be like, right, how long I've got, my kind of watch pile of 3, 4, 5, 6 movies, and I'm like, right, how much time have I got tonight? What kind of genre am I in the mood for? Like, for example, this isn't planned. I just literally have it here because it's one.
Go for it.
So Primer, which is an awesome low budget time travel movie from, God, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. That's a really short movie. That is, does it say here 77 minutes long.
Oh, that is great for a late night watch.
It's such a good movie. So this is
I wrote it down
from Umbrella Entertainment in Australia. They do really awesome box sets of like niche movies that you wouldn't think would get like the big 4K box set treatment. The only downside is it's Australia, so shipping is, whether they're sending it to Europe, UK, the States, anywhere, shipping is bad. So like I'll wait and have 4 or 5 in my basket from them, and then get it all sent over in one shipping. So I literally, a couple of nights ago, I did like a batch shoot where I did 4 or 5 unboxings, all from Umbrella, and that was one of them. So yeah, Primer, it's an awesome time travel movie. I'm trying to think. It was the debut movie of the guy. I think his name's Shane Carruthers or Shane Carruth or something is the filmmaker. He's also Shane Carruth. He's also one of the main actors in it. He went on to do bigger budget movies that you might have heard of, but none of which come to mind just now. But that was the debut movie, and yeah, here's the slipcover as well. It's a very cool design.
I just added that to my shopping cart. Luckily, in the U.S., it's not always like cheap, but usually better. There's a company that we have here in the U.S. that they really like grind down on their business on importing stuff that you can't get in the U.S.
Yeah,
and they do bulk buys, so I think they can get it. So if you buy it through them, for us at least, it ends up being better than the shipping that we would have to do from Australia. But it's still not cheap, but it's better.
That's good. Yeah,
but I just added that. I have not seen that before.
It's good, mate. It's really good. Don't be put off by the kind of. I don't mean this disrespectfully, but like it's a very low budget looking movie. You know, like
that's okay.
It's what year is it? I'm trying to see if I can quickly see the year. It's like early 2000s, so it's like, you know, early digital video movie making type thing.
Okay.
So it looks like a cheap movie because it is a cheap movie, but it's so good. Like it's such an intelligent time travel like thought movie. Here's the best way to describe it. So you know the scene in Avengers Endgame where they're talking about like how does time travel work. So imagine that, but like from two engineer sciencey type guys who are serious about it, but they're just having a talk over, you know, they're having a beer and talking about it, and then they kind of like, you know, I don't want to spoil it, but you know, it's
often. That sounds interesting.
Very good. It's very, very good. It's very, very good.
I'm going to get back and run through the chat real quick. But before I do that, because I am good on live streams, forgetting my thought process on this. But when you're talking about time travel, a little different, a little lower budget. Have you ever seen Time Crimes? It's Spanish.
No, not seen that. No.
Oh, that's interesting. A good friend of mine, Laren.
Let me add that to my list.
He has suggested that to me. It's a little bit of a reality bending twister. You got to think about it a little bit, but it's definitely falls into that lower budget, time travel ish. And one I don't want to say too much about, kind of a movie, but
and it's on Shudder, which I have a thingy of, so I can watch that. I will add that to my watch list. Nice.
So maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. But you know, I always get hesitant about recommended movies. But when you threw that one out, I don't know if that would. Maybe just throw that on there.
I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, like I love time travel movies. Like, and I love it when they try their best to like explain it. Like, I love that. I'm you know, the Back to the Future method, or the Terminator method, or the Primer method. You know, or the Avengers Endgame, which kind of like try to make their own version of it, but kind of like. Anyway, that's a different discussion.
Yeah, that's another stream. That's another.
Yeah, that's a whole other. That's like a series of streams.
I'm going to run through a few more here, but we have Allie in here saying, "What's up, everybody?" Thanks, Allie, for jumping in. Prince was saying, "What part of Scotland are you exactly, Jimmy?" And for the record, Scottish accent is a very.
You just became my new best friend. Happy Croatimus, Prince.
Calm down, Prince. Calm down. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm in Glasgow. I'm in central Scotland, so this is very much a Glaswegian accent, or a Ouija, as it's known locally, a Ouija accent. In Glasgow. So I'm Glasgow, which is not the capital, but it's the biggest city in Scotland. But I mean, I say biggest city, it's, you know, biggest city in Scotland, but it's still tiny. Like the population of Scotland is only something like 6 million. Like there's more people commute to Manhattan every day than live in Scotland, you know?
Wow. So just to put it in perspective though, that's still pretty big to me. Where I live in the United States, I am a long ways away from Manhattan. So, you know, but that's one thing I found, and I'm going to get through that. I'm good at getting off track, but I'll get back into the chat here. But I think that's a big misconception. Sometimes people have never been to the United States. When they come to travel here, they don't realize the expanse, how big it is. And, you know, I've met some people online, you know, through this whole thing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to come over there. And what do you think of us if we hit New York and then Miami, Florida, and then LA and California?" And I'm like, whoa. Like, you're going to be traveling a lot, you know,
Yeah.
to hit those. And I think it's so much different. Like the times we've traveled to the UK or Europe, where uh, the train systems are so great, and you can hit so many different countries, like us going to just different states right around where we live.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, gonna jump through. I'm missing some of the hellos back and forth. Sam, 21. You don't look that old. Yeah, no, I'm 21 a couple times. So, and then some. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Princeton, you look like you're 18 to me, Corey Wonka. Yeah, no, I appreciate the sentiment, but I know I don't look that, especially with the white and the gray coming in. But that's okay. That's all right. It's the battle scars we got. Jimmy, are you a fan of your fellow Scotsman, Robert Carlyle? He's one of my favorite actors, so underrated.
I am indeed, and I agree. He's a brilliant actor, and I wouldn't say he's underrated. I don't. I think people. I think people rate him quite highly across the board. I just think he's quite. He's not. He doesn't. He's not. He doesn't play the movie star game, so to speak. So he doesn't. He's quite selective in the movies that he does. And he's quite a not recluse, but he's quite. He doesn't live his life in the public eye, you know. So he's not really in the tabloids for anything ever. So you don't see him in the same way that you would see like like a Ben Affleck or a Matt Damon or movie stars of that caliber. But yeah, he's very cool. Actually, I met him once. He was I was working at a wedding, and he was the best man at the wedding. And I met him briefly because I had to get him mic'd up for his speech. And he was shorter than I was expecting in real life. I don't know why. I think you always think you always think people in the movies are going to be really tall, but he was quite short. And yeah, he was brand new. It was really humanizing because he was nervous about delivering a best man speech, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you're an actor, like you've been in movies, but it just goes to show, like anyone get nervous about giving a best man toast.
Well, you kind of forget they're real human beings,
Yeah.
and they can have the same insecurities, the same, things that they get nervous about that we do. So,
Yeah,
absolutely. Prince was in here saying, Corey, I love you, buddy. Trademark question time. I trust you. I always remember it because Prince throws out, he likes to ask guests that I have on here, what's your serotonin movie? The movie that relaxes you or gives you a smile on your face, one that you could always like throw on and feel good.
That's a bloody brilliant question, and that's a brilliant way to word that question. What's your serotonin? I'm totally stealing that. What's your serotonin? The first one that comes to mind is Major League.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Like, I remember watching that as a kid. It was probably just on television. And a kid from Scotland has got no business falling in love with a baseball movie, because we don't have baseball in this country at all. It doesn't exist. But I absolutely adore that movie. So for the longest time as a kid, I would say like that would be the Serotonin movie, and that's the first one that popped into mind. So yeah, we'll go with that. Major League.
Yeah. That's funny. As soon as you said that, I remember you, and I honestly cannot remember what live stream it was on, but I remember seeing you on a live stream bringing that up before. And I think it was when the Steelbook was released.
Yes, because they just brought it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were talking about that Steelbook release or showing it, one of the two, but you were kind of saying where like, yeah, maybe it kind of comes out of nowhere where, a kid from Scotland just connects with this baseball movie where we don't have baseball around, but it's just a good movie. It's fun time. But that's a great thing about movies too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had it recorded off of television. So, it's the TV cut with the adverts, every 20 minutes or so, and every 20 minutes or so. And then as a teenager, when I started collecting DVDs, I had the DVD copy of it. And then, cut to 20 years later, and the movie gods bring out a 4K steelbook. It's a really good looking steelbook, but it's also a really good 4K transfer. So I was over the moon when that came out.
I think this past year and last year there have been some crazy movies that maybe we would never have thought we would have got the 4K treatment and everything from. No disrespect to the movies, I enjoy Major League so much too. watched it as a kid, have a lot of nostalgia for it, but there's just a lot of those movies that were, you just kind of step back and be like, have a little appreciation, like, wow, they're giving this the treatment
Yeah,
and getting
yeah,
back out there. And
yeah. It's been an expensive year for collecting physical
oh
media.
gosh, that's a whole nother stream as
Yeah,
well.
yes.
We got Eli in here saying, what's up, Corey and everyone. Thanks, Eli,
How we
for
doing?
jumping in here. I'm going to skip through some of these, but Eli was saying, do you consider Leatherface a traditional slasher or backwoods hillbilly villain along the lines of The Hills Have Eyes and Wrong Turn? I don't consider him a traditional slasher.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was brought up in conversation with my partner earlier on today, or yesterday. In fact, yesterday, because we were talking about Terrifier, because we just seen Terrifier 3 not that long ago, and we were talking about. I don't think this is a spoiler for Terrifier 3, but one of the kills in Terrifier 3, you don't see it, you hear it.
I've heard that. Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the, and that's I think that for me that was the best. I'm not a huge fan of that movie or the franchise, but for that movie specifically, that was the best part of the movie. That was the most confident, assured scene from a filmmaking point of view in the movie, and it's because you don't see it. It's not over. You see nothing. You hear it. It sounds gross because you can hear murder and axes and knives and whatever. I've lost my train of thought. Where do we go? Yes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And so it kind of reminded me of the dinner table scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's the scariest scene in that movie by far for me, because just the way it's like staccato edited, and it just holds on her face and you see the fear on her face, and they're not, at that point, they're not doing anything to her other than scaring the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And it sticks out as being one of the best scenes in the movie. And they're not doing anything to her. It's your imagination and in her face and the reaction of her face that sells it. So to go back to the original question, I would say yes, and I would say both. I'm going to cheat and say both. It's not a traditional slasher, even though it does have a crazy guy with a chainsaw slashing people with a chainsaw. But I think Chainsaw Massacre is more of a psychological horror than a slasher. I would say that it's just like 70% psychological horror, 30% slasher guy with a chainsaw.
Yeah. And I have not seen, I'll actually admit, I have not seen any of the Terrifier movies at this point, but I was watching your recent video on Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
And remember you commenting on that murder scene that you don't actually see. And I agree with you, where there's a bunch of movies where they don't just give you everything, they give you some of what's going on. And your imagination sometimes can make it 10 times worse than what they could ever show you. Your imagination can go wild with some of those things.
And I'm not against gore, like it's, a gory slasher movie I'll enjoy with the rest of the sickos who enjoy stuff like that. But it's when it's nothing but that, and it's just like kill scene after kill scene. There's only so much. My partner put it this way. She said, "There's only so much knives going into plastic fake bodies that you can take before you not desensitize yourself to it, but it loses meaning."
Yeah, you're kind of like, I got it.
Yeah. The practical effects in those movies are really good. Considering the first, someone commented on my video that the first Terrifier movie was shot for something like $35,000, which is like insanely low budget. Now, at times that's very obvious that it looks like a low budget movie, but
for what they did,
it was great. I just, it's the characters are better than the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Much like some of the later Jason movies or Freddy movies, the movies are bad, but the characters are good. That's the way I look at the Terrifying movies. I don't think they're great movies. I think they're great characters. I want to see those characters in better movies.
Yeah. So can you see, and this is kind of how I was looking at it too, where whether you're a fan of the type of movie Terrifier is or not, do you feel like even if you don't like that type of movie, that you almost cheer them on anyway, because the first one, for what you said, that shoestring budget that they had, like nothing compared to and to where they're kind of going and some of the box office numbers that the third one is bringing in now.
Yeah.
I mean, for an independent film, an independent idea, original idea, whether you like the movie or not, is it kind of hard not to cheer them on a little bit, you know, because that
100%,
yeah,
100%. Like I said, I don't love the movies. I think they're great characters, but I'm happily paying money to go and see them
yeah,
because I love movies. I'll go and see anything. Like literally, I'll go to the movies to see anything. Like I'll obviously, if there's like 4 movies to choose from, I'll have a preference. But if I've got an opportunity to go to the cinema to see anything, I'll go because I love movies. I love going. I love the cinema experience. I love watching movies at home as well, and spend far too much money to do that. But yeah, I totally the fact that they're making these movies. If they make a Terrifier 4, I will go and see Terrifier 4.
Yeah.
It's
kind of hard not to support it, you know.
Yeah. But it's and the filmmakers again. I think I mentioned this in my review. It's the fact that they did that. It's a completely what's the word? It's not based on previous characters. It's not based
just completely original.
It's not based on existing IP. You know, it's not a Disney character or a Marvel character or a folk tale character. It's completely original story, completely original characters. And even though I'm not a huge fan of the movies, I think that's hugely commendable that in a short space of time, in less than a decade or less than 5 years, maybe, I don't know how long exactly, because I know that Art the Clown was first in like a short film. I think it's 2015 or something. But in such a short space of time, they've created an iconic horror character. And that's props to them for that.
So before I get in the chat again, that's the thing I want to ask you is, I know you brought it up in your video too, of having some of these iconic characters, and I haven't watched them, so I'm sorry I'm missing some of the names, but you got Art the Clown, and then you have the final girl that was brought out in the, here that has really caught on as well too. And I apologize, I don't know the name, I haven't watched them, but do you see these characters standing the test of time? As like somebody still looking back at Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy, I'm really amazed how fast these have caught on, and you see people dressing up as them, both of them, in different situations. Sorry, I'm going to stop talking.
No, the short answer is yes. I would say. Yeah. I don't it's obviously too early to tell, but I would bet that Art the Clown might not be in 30 years' time might not be considered in the same breath as, or the same league as, Freddy or Jason or Michael Myers, but I think he will be on a par with like Jigsaw.
Yeah,
that level. I would say yes.
You can still have somebody that has that nostalgia, that experienced the movies, that loved it, that will still dress up and do that. But
absolutely.
It's kind of cool to see that happen in front of you, though.
That's what I was kind of partly what I was meaning when I was talking about, like, in such a short space of time, they've created an iconic horror character.
Yeah,
mediocre movies at best, in my opinion. I know they've got. I know there's a lot of fans of the movies, so don't at me, or go for it, whatever. But iconic characters for sure. Yeah. Well, iconic character. Yeah, I would say Art and the final girl, Sienna Shaw. I think definitely iconic characters. Iconic in the sense that, and I'm sure I did mention this in my Terrifier 3 review. So I was filming a Comic-Con, a local Comic-Con in Edinburgh 2 or 3 weeks ago. General Comic-Con, fairly big. I don't know what the numbers are, but like probably one of the biggest cons in Scotland. There was more Sienna Shaw, who's the final girl in Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. There was more people cosplaying as her than there was as Art the Clown. And I think that says a lot, because it's not like her costume is easier. It's not.
Right.
Art's clown costume is kind of an off-the-shelf, one, whether you make it yourself or, you literally buy it off the shelf. That's an easier costume. The Sienna Shaw costume is much more detailed. It's kind of like a Xena warrior princess, Wonder Woman angel wings type costume. That's a much harder costume, and the cosplayers at that con who cosplayed as Sienna Shaw, like, they put a lot of effort into that. And then, not that the people dressed as Art the Clown didn't, but there was more Sienna Shaw than there was Art the Clown, and that says a lot.
I wonder if that's just tapping into a market of there's so many women that I've met through YouTube doing this whole thing that are huge horror fans. And sometimes some of the movies just overlook them. I think sometimes, like to have that person they can connect to, or like to really drive them to put that effort and the money in what they have to do to cosplay them, and go out and do that. So it's cool that it's capturing that imagination of them.
Yeah. And to close it off, to go back to your original question, I think, iconic characters, but not iconic movies.
Right. Yeah, maybe we'll see some more in the future, but I apologize. I'm going to run through just real quick again too. I'm good at falling behind on this, but we got Linda Cox in here saying hi. Linda, thank you for jumping in here. I'm going to jump through some of the just highs back and forth, but Allie's appreciating my shirt, saying perfect for this time of year. This is my pumpkin shirt, I guess, or my fall shirt.
It's a good lumberjack shirt.
I broke it out. We got cool enough temps now. I can break out the flannel. It's my time of year.
Ironically, that I'm either in a flannel shirt like that or a superhero hoodie.
Hey, there you go.
It's one or the other for me.
Yeah. My type of year is flannel or hoodies, or the what do you call it? Jumper or
jumper. If it's got a hood, we still call it a hoodie.
A hoodie? Okay.
We would what you would call a sweater, we would call a jumper.
Okay. I'm trying, We got D in here, our Jurassic Chaos, saying, hey Corey, how's it going? Thanks for jumping in. Sam saying just subbed to you, Jimmy.
Thank you very much.
That's cool. Do it. Get out there. He's got great things out there, so please check it out. The Real Fifth Beatle, is Jimmy a fan of Critical Drinker?
A fan, no, but like he is in my feed. He's ironically, I don't know why, but the way the algorithms work, I tend to only come across his stuff on Twitter, which is not one of my main platforms. It's I think the dude's got a great voice and he's done brilliantly for himself. I don't know him, Scotland's a small country, but I don't, I don't know him. I've never met the guy, but he has a following. He has a following.
I don't know a lot about him too, but he has like a line of books too that he's writing, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe he does, and he does, of course, like you said, with his voice. I think he does a lot of the audio tracks for the audiobooks, which is obvious. And so
I think he's definitely. I would love to meet him to know how much of a character he's playing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I mean, we all, when you're in front of the camera, everyone plays like a version of themselves. It's never. Correct. I don't think it's ever your true self. Like, so I refer to myself as Jimmy on the YouTube channel. In my day life, I'm James. No one ever calls me Jimmy. But it was one of the random things that I did to make myself feel more comfortable on camera. Was I'll call myself Jimmy. So it's I'd love to know how much of his persona is a character and how much of it is him. Because, like I said, he's got a great voice, but the way he delivers his voiceovers as well, it's like voiceover actor level. So I'd be curious to know. How much of that is persona, how much of it's character.
Yeah. Well, I think like the two of us too, I think from what I feel from you and what I try to do, you want to be authentic and honest to people that you're on here, but you're anytime, even in real life, when you just run into somebody in the street, you automatically like, okay, what am I going to present, at this time, what emotions, what feelings, what am I going to put out there?
Yeah. Totally.
Sam was saying, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to, go for it. We got Caveman in here, guy saying, hey, everyone. Yeah, more of the like buttons. Thank you very much. I'm going to jump past some of these, but I will at least want to say hi to people that jumped in I haven't said hi to, like right here, Mika. We got from Double Feature. Hi, Corey and everyone. So like I said, if I miss anybody's things, I apologize, but I just want to keep moving. But this is why I do the live streams. I love people jumping in here and chiming in too. It makes it challenging for me to balance. But it's a good challenge. Yeah. Jeff saying, Corey, that beard though. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if everybody in the house is a fan of it, but like I said, I was trying to help my daughter out a little bit and try it out. We got the we're gonna have the snow and the cold weather flying here before too long, so maybe it will help me out. So
I miss my lockdown beard when
yeah, did you just let it go?
oh, like it was like down here maybe, and then like
Yeah.
it was. I mean, I looked like a homeless guy, but I loved it. Just like, you know, I
We
mean,
noticed.
I know COVID was terrible, people died and all that,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
terrible. But when else are you going to be allowed to just grow a big bushy beard for 4 months and not have to worry about worrying about going to work and having to tidy it up? So
And
it
wear
was
sweatpants all day long, and
yeah. No, none of my family missed my lockdown beard, but I
you missed it. No,
yeah.
I'm probably the same way too. This is the longest I've ever had it in a long, long time. Not ever, but in a very, very long
Yeah,
time. So
it's almost as like it's the same length as on top.
yeah, yeah. I got a little shorter this time than I thought I was going to, but hey, that's all right. We got Gizmo in here saying, yes, Gizmo. Hello, Holland. I'm just Gizmo. Gizmo, thanks for jumping in here.
If Gizmo is Gizmo after Gremlins Gizmo, I at last year's Comic Con in Edinburgh had the privilege and pleasure of doing a quick interview with Zach Galligan, who plays Billy in Gremlins, and he was such a cool guy.
Oh, that'd be cool.
He was there's I think I don't know if it's on my YouTube channel, but it's definitely on my Instagram. It's like a quick 60-second soundbite just chatting while he was at Comic Con, and hearing his thoughts on that movie 30, was it 40? Well, at least 30 years later, talking about why he thinks it's still impactful, and the fact that he's very at peace with the fact that his job now is doing Comic Cons, taking pictures with folk and talking about Gizmo and Gremlins, and he is more than happy with that. And I think that's such a cool attitude, and he was brand new. He was brand new. So if Gizmo is not named after Gizmo and Gremlins, that's irrelevant. But there you go.
There you go. But that's cool when they take on that responsibility. They know the people coming in have excitement for that movie, and they embrace it and enjoy it with them.
That's exactly it. That's the word I was searching for, but I couldn't find. He's embraced that, as that's he's not the world's biggest movie star. He's the guy from Gremlins, and he does Comic Cons and talks about Gremlins, and he's embraced that, and he enjoys it, and he gets to travel the world. It's not a bad gig.
And meet people that want to meet him. They want to see you. They're lining up to see you.
He's got his own wee screen used Gizmo puppet that he brings to them for people to take pictures with as well.
Oh,
it's very cool. It's very cool.
Oh, I like that. Mika was saying Primer has been on her watch list for a long time here. So
you get it watched. Cool. Get it watched again. Don't be put off by the low budget video look. It's very good.
That doesn't bother me at all, because I've seen some low budget ones that I've enjoyed way more than some huge budget movies.
Yeah, that's that. If it's a good story, you could shoot it on a potato. It doesn't matter. If it's a good story, it's a good story.
I'm trying to just run through some of the highs back and forth and everything. Mika was saying we're hoping to get to Europe next year, and Scotland will definitely be a stop.
Good stuff. Good stuff. As a Glaswegian, I shouldn't say this, but Glasgow's not a big tourist town. If you're wanting to see the sights, don't prioritize Glasgow. Go to Edinburgh, go to Stirling, go to Loch Ness, places like that. The whole country is beautiful, but Glasgow is it's a central city. It's not much of a tourist spot. If you've only got a day to go somewhere in Scotland, go to Edinburgh. Yeah. Edinburgh is a tourist city. Stirling, if you've got time as well, and if you're going up north, going to the Highlands, Glasgow. Don't get me wrong, Glasgow's my home city. I'm born and raised here and still live here, but it's not a tourist spot. It's got good bars, good restaurants, and it's got a good culture, but it's not a historic tourist spot.
Yeah. Well, and this might be going into what I was talking about, but Gizmo is saying, Corey, that is just Central Europe. If you visit the countries north or really south, the train system is still from the 1930s. At least it feels like it, except Spain and Italy. So, that might be part of the thing where the travels that I've done, I did plan it around some areas where there was some good transportation options that we wouldn't have to drive. So I would agree with you. I probably hit the ones that had the good train systems. Real Fifth Beetle saying Glasgow is still a really big city in the UK.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the UK, yeah. I mean, outside of like London and Manchester, it's but it's not small for the UK. I just mean like comparatively
Relatively,
to like big places in the States, it's tiny.
Yeah. Ali was saying Robert Carlyle is definitely underrated in the U.S. I feel like no one knows him by name here, and they should.
Ah, okay, right.
So that might be something I get into a little bit later too. We'll see. I'm still running through the chat here, so I
Yeah.
appreciate you, putting up with me.
All good, mate. All good. It's all good.
I'm going to run through some of these real quick. Like I said, everybody, if I'm missing some, it's not on purpose. Just want to keep it moving. We got movies with Ryan. Ryan, how's it going? So we need a 4K and Steelbook of Moneyball.
I watched that just like again for like the second or third time a couple of months ago. My partner hadn't seen it, and it's one of those ones where you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, and they've got clips of random movies. For some reason, the algorithm was feeding me clips of Moneyball, and I was like, I want to watch that again. Like I saw it when it came out. And I hadn't seen it since, but yeah, I watched that just maybe a month or two ago. It's still a good movie. Still a good movie. I'm a big Aaron Sorkin fan, and I'm sure he wrote that. So yeah, that's Moneyball's a good movie. Yeah,
that's a good one. Got Laren in here, Ryan, longtime buddy. I can't remember if I said hi to you yet, Laren, but I'm saying hi again. I was talking about your movie, if you're still in here, Time Crimes, that you recommended to me. We were just talking about that not too long ago.
McMullen sounds like a Scottish name as well.
I don't know. He'll have to answer to that part of it. Like I said, I'm going to jump through some of these. Daniel Garcia, do you like the TV horror movie that Kevin Bacon did in 1983? I gotta think which one that is.
Elm Street 2? No, that wasn't Kevin. That wasn't Kevin Bacon. This is the weird thing. In my mind, until I did a Elm Street marathon last Halloween, in my mind it was Kevin Bacon that was in Elm Street 2, but it's not. It's just a kid that looks like Kevin Bacon. I don't know what horror was Kevin Bacon in 1983. Was he in one of the Friday the 13th?
Well, he was in Friday the 13th, but for the TV horror movie, I guess I'm not sure which one that is.
Tell us the specific movie, Daniel.
Yeah, throw it in there, and I'll try not to miss it. Sorry, I'm good at missing comments. Ali was saying Sienna from Terrifier 2 and 3 is the best final girl we've gotten in a long time.
I would say that's probably true. I think Sienna from Terrifier 2 and 3, and I can't remember the character's name, but the bride character in Hyde. What's the movie with Adam Brody, where the family and she gets married, but like it's a game of murderous hide and seek. Oh, what's it called? Crap. Hide next, hide and seek. Oh, anyway, someone
I'm blanking.
People who've seen it will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she's I think Sienna Shaw and the bride from that movie are kind of the two recent final girls that like stand out as being very cool. Very cool.
Okay. Ryan's got a question. Is there a Scottish hidden gem movie or director we should check out?
Ooh, I'll take that in two parts then. So just Scottish hidden gem movie. I don't know if this is a hidden gem, but Danny Boyle's first movie, Shallow Grave. I don't know if people know that. It's the movie he made before Trainspotting. Now Danny Boyle isn't Scottish. I think he's from Liverpool. He's English, but he started making movies in Scotland with Ewan McGregor. Trainspotting was the breakout hit, but the movie they made like a year before was called Shallow Grave, and it's brilliant. It's like a kind of film noir type movie, and it's brilliant. So I would say Shallow Grave for the Scottish hidden gem, and then a director you should check out. Scottish director Peter Mullen is the first one that comes to mind. He's made a few quite hard hitting dramas. He's a face that you might recognise because he's probably more known to be as an actor, but he's directed movies as well. The Magdalene Sisters is one of his movies that he made, and that's quite harrowing, but it's such a good watch. It's about the kind of the church organization, the nun kind of convent organization in Ireland. I think was it Scotland? I think it was Ireland, where pregnant teenage girls are shipped off to because heaven forbid you get pregnant and you're not married. That's a really good movie. So yeah, so Shallow Grave for the Hidden Gem movie, and Peter Mullen as a director.
I was just recently on a live stream of a friend of mine, Bob, where I recommend movies for him to watch, and Shallow Grave was one of those that I had put
There you
out
go.
to him. That was a Criterion release that I
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
up and was really, I was late to watching that one, but I really enjoyed it. Well, another Criterion, not to go too far off onto this, that I have always been thinking about buying, but I have not watched yet, was Local Hero. Do you know that one at all?
I know
Or
that one.
what
That's
do you have any thoughts on that one? If you don't, it's fine.
for my shame, I have never seen Local
That's
Hero.
okay. That's okay. But that's
Even though it's probably one of the most famous Scottish movies in
okay.
existence, I've never seen it.
No.
I know this. I know the soundtrack, the score, the Mark Knopfler score, at least the main theme. I know that's very like ingrained in kind of pop culture movie score ethos, but I've just never seen it. I've just never seen it.
That's okay. I have so many movies that people look at me and go like, I can't believe you've never seen that. But there's so many movies and only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
There's no way you can see them all. So there's always going to be something that somebody's like,
hey. Everyone's got a few like iconic movies that they've never seen. As much as I've seen thousands and thousands of movies, there's a few like big ones where you're like, yeah, there's a few gaps in my filmography that I've just never seen. Like,
I think everybody's got them.
Yeah, it's mainly like kind of like anything pre-70s. I tend to like not like I don't, not that you force yourself to watch it, but I don't tend to seek out any movies that are like pre-70s for whatever reason, like things like what comes to mind, like Gone with the Wind. Never seen it.
That's
I'm not desperate to watch it. Maybe one day I'll sit down and watch it, but yeah, never seen Gone with the Wind.
It's slow. In my opinion, it's slow.
But that's the thing, is like I'm sure at the time it was groundbreaking and amazing.
Oh yeah, it was.
Things like Citizen Kane. Like I've seen that because I watched it as part of a course I was doing at university. So I've seen Citizen Kane, and I don't get what the big deal's about. But when you read up on it, and you realize that was the first movie to technically do so many things, like editing wise, camera movement wise, lens wise. So at the time it was groundbreaking and new, kind of like watching like Inception for the first time or something like that.
Right.
But when you watch Citizen Kane in the late 90s, having seen hundreds of movies, that use these techniques, the impact is gone. But you can appreciate at the time when that came out, it was groundbreaking. But when you watch it for the first time as a 19-year-old, you're like, that's why people really say this is the best movie of all time. Like,
right.
I don't, okay.
Right. We got Collector Moved Man in here saying, nope, not a fan of Terrifier or Freddy or Jason. I can deal with Scream, Jigsaw, and Chucky.
Yeah, I would. I think the Scream, at least the first two or three are much better movies than most of those, I would say.
Yeah. We got Larry in here, the Horror Cat Dad, saying, hey fam.
That's
Thanks
cool,
for jumping in here. Yep, he's got
Horror
a great name.
Cat Dad. I'm going to guess you've got an Instagram account with your cat and your cat and a horror Blu-ray, and that's the feed. Like, that's what I'm imagining. And if you don't, you should do that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was one that I think his wife helped him come up with that one. So it's very fitting. And I always said I wish I would have come up with a better name than what I had as well. But
how did you, on that note then, how did is Wilkie's Movies and Music, well, you've probably told that story before, but tell me, because I don't know, how did the name come about?
No, it's okay. So Wilkie is a nickname short of my last name, Wilkerson. Right. So it's that was one that I went by, and actually my older brother did. My I don't know if my dad did, but my grandfather actually went by that too when he was in World War II. He's got a flight jacket with Wilkie on it. So it was kind of one that's kind of gone through the generations. And when I started making this channel, so when I came up with that name, I created the channel way before I actually ended up doing anything on this. And I was nervous about doing it, and I didn't know about using my actual name. So you kind of said too, like Jimmy and James with yours. Yeah. So maybe it's, a similar thing where it's like at first I wanted to throw it out, Yeah. And just kind of throw it out there, and maybe not people immediately around me checking it out right away because I didn't know how I was going to do or what I was going to
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
about it. Now, looking back at it, maybe I would have done something a little bit different, but that's what I got right now, and I'm running with it. And then the movies and music, those were two of the things that I always enjoy talking about. I know I lean way more into the movies than the
Yeah.
music, but I was like, I don't want to like narrow myself or put myself too much in a corner too. And I don't know. That was my brilliant idea at the time when I
Right.
when I put it out there.
Good. So Wilkie, Corey's obviously the first name.
Yeah.
Wilkie is the nickname,
Yeah.
derivative of the last name,
Yes.
and then obviously movies and music. Cool.
Yeah. Yep. That's where I went with. But yeah, I probably should have just used Corey in there somewhere. But because everybody's
I
like, I don't know
mean,
what to
yeah.
call you.
Mine's is even more literal because like I'm Scottish, I'm a geek, and I'm a guy. That's
Hey,
just
but
it,
it
just
works
call
really
it
well.
what it is.
It works really well. No, I like yours. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna run through just some real quick saying, hey, more love for the beer. Thanks, Laren. I appreciate it. Yep, it's still pretty new to me, but we got Jane Doe Latte. I always joke she's my honorary mom. So saying good evening, everyone. She's the mom of John Doe Juggalo Jeff.
I was going to say there's a John.
Yep.
We've got a John Doe there later. Right, okay.
Yep. So Jane Doe and John Doe. So
Gotcha.
they are relations. So saying hi to everybody. All right, I'm gonna run through some of these really quick. Mika was saying yes, we're planning on Edinburgh.
Good stuff. It's a lovely city. I hate working in Edinburgh because parking is a nightmare. But I love going to Edinburgh as a tourist or just for a day trip. It's brilliant as a tourist. It's a nightmare if you have to like work there because
Sure.
it's like most kind of modern metropolitan cities, they're making it more and more difficult to like take your car there.
Oh, sure.
But depending on the job that you have, you need like the job that I do, like I have like not quite a van full of stuff, but I have a car full of equipment, and I'm like I can't take the train
Right.
with four camera bags and 3 big tripods. I need to take my car. I need to park next to the hotel and unload, and then go and find a car park. So yeah, Edinburgh's great as a tourist. It's a nightmare if you are there.
I can understand that. There's probably a lot of cities like
Yeah,
that.
but that's true of any
bigger city,
any big city in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Got Tiana in here saying, "Hey everyone, hey Tiana."
How we doing?
Ryan was saying Shallow Grave is great. People need to pick up the Criterion next month.
Do you know? I think I might have. That's one. I'm sure I like saw that, but I don't think I've pre-ordered it. I'll need to try and jump on that and try and get it. Hopefully, it's not sold out.
Yep.
Because I've got the I have a DVD of it. I don't have a Blu-ray of it, so that would be good.
I have the Criterion Blu-ray of that one, so that's a good one. For sure.
Is it a 4K they're bringing out?
I guess I don't know. Maybe I just don't know about it. Either that or maybe a sale coming up. I don't know.
Grave 4K.
I think mine's a Blu-ray that I have of it from Criterion.
Doesn't I think it's a Blu-ray from Criterion. So my only concern these days with buying a Blu-ray is they've got bloody movie studios that are like double dipping on you because they release a new Blu-ray of a movie, and then 6 months later the 4K comes out. Like they did it with Demolition Man, and they did it with what else? Demolition Man's the first one that comes to mind. Like they brought out a new, at least in the UK and in Europe, they brought out a new Blu-ray release, a new Blu-ray steelbook, collector steelbook, art cards, the whole, good looking set, but it was just a 1080p Blu-ray. And you thought, oh, that's a shame, but maybe they're obviously not going to do a 4K restoration or anything. And then like 4, 5, 6 months later, they bring out a 4K, and I'm like, mother, like just what a Blu-ray. So I'm always a bit hesitant to drop money on a new Blu-ray because I'm like, are you going to bring out a 4K? Like, should I wait?
Criterion, I've kind of gone to the route of waiting. If it's a Blu-ray, I wait unless it just was released. If it was just recently released as a Blu-ray, I'm figuring the 4K might be a little ways off. Yeah. But if it's a Blu-ray that's been in the Criterion collection for a while, for a few years or more, I kind of have been hesitant buying those because I'm like, maybe the 4K is going to be right around the corner. And
yeah.
I think we've all had those moments where you break down and buy the Blu-ray of something, and then a month later you hear the 4K release come out.
Yeah, so annoying. It's so annoying. Like VHS and then DVD and then Blu-ray and then 4K, and you're like, they just, every 10 years you're restarting your collection,
Oh, absolutely.
But, that's let's be honest, that's part of the fun.
Yep. No, that's part of all of it. Okay, man, I've asked several questions that you've skipped over. Sorry if I said no, you didn't say anything wrong. Like I said, it was not on purpose. I'll try to catch them, or if you want to put something in there again, if you had a good question. I'm not saying the others weren't good questions, but believe me, this is a little bit of a task for me to talk, keep a conversation going, and keeping up with the chat. So I know I'm skipping over a lot of different chats back and forth. So not on purpose. No, I appreciate being in here, man. It's that's probably some of my lack of skill with all of this. We got Smirk in here saying good afternoon, Corey and Scottish Geek Guy. Smirk, thanks for jumping in.
That's a cool icon. I like that.
Collector Movie Man is asking if you're a fan of Braveheart.
Yes, absolutely. Over time, that's became less of a loved movie, I think, but I absolutely love that movie. It's still in my top 5 of all time. Yeah. Bloody. I know it's not historically accurate. I don't care. It's a great movie. I love that movie. Absolutely love that movie.
Yeah. No, it's a great one. I can go back and watch that whenever.
Yeah. It's funny. I think a lot of people at the time when it came out in Scotland, everyone loved it. I think, 25, 30, when they're 95. So God, I throw 30, almost 30 years later.
Yeah.
I think in Scotland, I think it's kind of done a 180. I think most people in Scotland, I don't think love that movie as much as they did when it came out.
Oh, okay.
But I love that movie. Genuinely top 5 of all time for me.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah, for sure. Gizmo is asking, my dog wonders if you can present your dog on cam, Corey. Not right now. He's out of the room, but maybe someday he will make an appearance. So he's kind of a goofball. So we'll see. Video Tasties is in here saying, evening, gents.
He's another UK chap who's up late. Are you going to get it?
Yeah, absolutely. I check his channel out as well. So, yeah. I don't know exactly where, but yeah, I believe UK.
Yeah, Gareth is in the UK. He's down in England. I've done a good few live streams with Gareth. We do watch-alongs for movies, and
maybe I've seen you on there before too, because he does watch a lot of fun watch-alongs.
I'm amazed that he has a family or a life, because it seems like he's always doing a watch-along with.
Like, how are you streaming again?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm booked in. I think we're doing an Anchorman watch-along next month, so watch out for that.
I will watch for that if I could talk. Ryan was he was saying no 4K, just Blu-ray. November Criterion sale for Shellgrave.
I'll probably hold off. I think that will get the 4K treatment at some point.
Yeah, I got that one a while ago, but it's a good one. My chat jumped on me here, but Dee was saying gotta go. Enjoy your night. Thanks, Dee, for jumping in here and saying hi. We always appreciate it. Gizmo's giving me a hard time. What's new? He always did do that. Caveman was saying sleeper time travel movie is About Time 2013. Great father-son relationship and pitfalls of time travel. Yeah.
Am I right in saying that's the one with Domhnall Gleeson and a pre-fame what's her name? Harley Quinn, the actress. The blonde.
Oh no.
What's her
Rachel
name?
McAdams, isn't it?
Yes, Rachel McAdams, but I'm sure.
But yeah, you're right. The friend that comes over is Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. Yeah.
Yes, I forgot she is the friend that comes over that he falls in love with during the summer.
Yeah,
and I completely forgot that was.
That's her. A good movie. Who's the dad in that movie again?
I like him so much because he was just in. What was the one that he just did? That was the Life, or
was it the
remake of the
Bill? If someone Caveman just put it in the chat, Bill Nye.
Yeah, Bill Nye.
Yeah, that's a good movie. About time. That's a good movie. I enjoyed that one.
Or was it Living? Or what was the one that he just did? That was the remake of the.
Was it The Exorcist prequel? The Believer, Exorcist Believer? Was it that he was in?
No, not the one that I'm thinking of.
I'm sure he was in a movie this year because I saw him do press for it. Was it The First Omen? He was in something, Bill Nye. But for me, Bill Nye.
Is that his name though? I'm trying
Bill Nye, yeah. I think it's pronounced Nye, like with a like a Y at the end.
Yeah.
Because it's not Bill Nye the Science Guy. It's Bill Nye.
Right, correct. And I think somebody put that in the chat too, like not the science guy. Yeah, Larry was saying that.
But for me, he's all like when you say his name, I immediately think of Love Actually when he plays that.
Oh, okay.
He plays the aging rock star. And then at the end of that movie, you know, he's playing guitar naked on stage because he got the Christmas #1. So anytime you say Bill Nye, I think of him naked playing guitar.
I don't have that image of him until now. So now I have that. Thank you. Thank you very much. But I was trying to think, I had to like Google it, so I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. But no, there was a recent one that I watched of his that was called Living, and it was a remake of Akira Kurosawa's film Ikaru. If I'm saying that correctly.
No, I've not heard of either of those movies.
But Living, I know some people said that was very slow paced, but maybe I was in a feely emotional mood when I saw that, but it hit me pretty good when I watched it.
I'm going to add that to the little list of movies I'm keeping track of here. So Time Crimes and Living.
There you go.
There we go. That's 2 to add to the list.
All right. Yep. Not the Science Guy. We got that one there. Let's see here. Gizmo saying, "Ask Scottish man guy if he has seen Revenge." Yeah, Gizmo always has good name for me too, but have seen Revenge of Billy the Kid. That is amazing, and I believe it's a Scottish film, really hidden gem that I don't think anybody ever talks about. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe that's why it doesn't get talked about a whole lot.
Why you don't talk about it?
Yeah, right.
No, I have never heard of Revenge of Billy the Kid. I had no idea it existed. I had no idea it was a Scottish movie, and I definitely didn't know it was a bestiality horror comedy. As much as I love that subgenre,
that is quite the combination. That's quite the combination. Leave it to Gizmo to bring that one.
Yeah, bestiality horror comedy. I mean, there's so many different movies to choose from within that genre.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. That's a flooded market at this point.
Yeah,
I think there's so many that do that. So
I mean, there's so many movies that do it so well.
Moving on.
I'm not going to add that to the list. No.
Larry was saying, "LOL." I was thinking Shaun of the Dead. Oh, with Bill Nye, because he was wasn't he the stepfather or something?
Was it Philip? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Get some flat with Sean.
Yep. Ryan was saying thoughts on In Bruges.
Oh, In Bruges is brilliant. It's Colin Farrell's best performance, I think, still to this day, even though he's given some amazing performances. In Bruges is brilliant. Ralph Fiennes is brilliant. Everyone is brilliant in that. It's such a sharp script. It's one of my partner's favorite movies over the last kind of like 20 years. That's really good. Really good. I really like In Bruges.
Okay, I missed more questions. Apparently, I apologize. Like I said, I am one person trying to juggle a couple things, and I'm still learning all of it.
It's good that the chat's so it's good.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You know, like it's good. It's good that the chat's so active that there's so many to get through. That thank you.
I know, but then I stumble and I miss.
Yeah.
So Collector Movie Man was saying I skipped 2 of his questions, but he wanted to ask if you were a fan of Game of Thrones and what's the price like for physical media there in the UK.
Yes, huge fan of Game of Thrones. But much like everyone, they definitely did not stick the landing, as they say. But yeah, Game of Thrones was brilliant. The last season was not. The last episode was not great at all. The price of physical media, I don't think it's hugely different than the US. Like steelbooks is my main thing. So I'll spend like a new steelbook will be about between, if it's a 4K release, it's going to be about 30 to 40 pounds. I have no idea what that is in dollars these days because it changes so rapidly. But yeah, there's not a huge difference in it. So so for example, the Deadpool and Wolverine steelbook, or the 2 variants that came out. So they were £35 each in the UK, and I'm pretty sure there's like $55 or $60 in the States.
There are more than that here in the US. So 35 of your pounds, 35 is to $45.40 in the US, and we were 65
Do you know that
or
off the top of
so.
your head, or are you checking that one?
No, I'm checking it. No,
That's
I wish
impressive.
I wish I had that knowledge outside. No, thank you, Google.
Yeah.
No, I had Google on the other screen here, but I just put in
So yeah,
yeah.
that's about standard. So 30 to 35 pounds for a new 4K release is
Oh
pretty
wow.
standard. It can be a little bit cheaper if it's like an older movie and it's maybe not a 4K, or it can be a little bit dearer if it's like a TV show, like a 6 disc set of like one of the Disney Plus shows. It can be maybe 40, 45 pounds. But yeah, 30, 35 pounds for a steelbook, and then the kind of the standard 4K tends to be £5 to £10 cheaper than that. But like I said, that's steelbooks that I collect, that I love. I love the art that comes on steelbooks. Like I really
Oh
love.
yeah.
I started collecting steelbooks specifically because they tend to not be the general poster of the movie, like the Blu-ray or the 4K with or without a slipcover. The artwork on the standard Amory case tends to be the general poster for the movie, or nothing too different than that. But what I love about steelbooks, or at least most steelbooks from my experience, is they go for different artwork, and sometimes really kind of not esoteric, but like they lean into the iconography of a character of a movie. Like for example, I have all of the Resident Evil steelbooks,
Okay.
the pop art collection. Now they are not great movies. I'm a huge fan of the video game, and I think the first movie is good, but most of the sequels are pretty, mediocre at best. But the steelbook set that they released for the Mila Jovovich Resident Evil movies, of which I'm sure there's 6, I think, the matching steelbook set of the pop art graphics design is beautiful. Like that's like if I had the room in my display, I would have that as a display. That set is one of the sets that kind of first got me started collecting steelbooks, specifically because it's not the movie poster. It's like it's like an artist's design. The pop art collective of those movies, and I just thought they look brilliant. That's like to me, that's genuinely, that's art to me. Things like one of my favorite movies of all time is True Romance. The Tony Scott directed, Tarantino scripted movie with Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. The original Blu-ray steelbook of it is a very simple design. It's a black steelbook, and just the white tattoo that they get of the Cupid. It's just that, and as opposed to the standard poster. Now they did bring out a 4K steelbook of that was still had different artwork, but it was more traditional. It was pictures of their faces, still lovely artwork. But I love when a steelbook goes for something kind of like more iconography based, like superhero steelbooks, like the Flash steelbook. It's just the Flash symbol, or the Superman, where it's just the Superman S. Like that's the kind of stuff that I love design wise. I've totally forgot why I started talking about that.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the pricing,
Someone asked the price. So it sounds like based on the Deadpool and Wolverine one, it sounds like it's a little bit cheaper for us then.
I believe so. I mean, that's what it sounds like. I think they're pushing some of the limit. They're trying some boundaries out, I think, in the US right now, with especially steelbooks, but I think even regular 4Ks with slipcovers. So some of these newer ones that were really popular, it seems like they're pushing some of the asking prices of them, and they're inching up there to see if they can keep on creeping it up. And
I think there will come a point where it becomes too much. Like, and I would be the same. Like for me, £30 for a new 4K steelbook, that's okay. If they start charging 40 plus for just a general steelbook, unless it's a movie that I absolutely bloody adore, I'm not going to spend £40 on it.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
So I think there is, obviously it's all relative with the cost of living and like wages in various countries and whatnot. But yeah, to what you were saying, if the companies start getting too greedy and they just start, how much can we milk these collectors for? Eventually, people will just, what's the phrase? People will vote with their wallet and not buy. especially when streaming is right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a collector, so like I've bought the Deadpool and Wolverine steelbook, even though it's going to be on Disney Plus, which I also pay for. But that's because I'm a collector. If they start charging too much for the physical media, it's on Disney Plus, guys.
You're right. Well, and that's what I had to look again. I had to look it up, but I think the Deadpool Wolverine Steelbook was going for about $66 here. That would be 50.88 pounds. So almost 51 pounds.
Now, is that so? Can I need to give me some context on that? Is that dearer than your average steelbook? Like, for example, what was the last kind of like big Disney movie, big Marvel movie that came out?
Disney usually pushes the limit. Some of the newer ones were more in the 30 to 35 US dollar range instead of 66. So like half.
They're almost that's almost double. That's quite a jump. That's quite a jump.
And then only about a year or two before that, we were running a ton of great like Lionsgate had a great run of steelbooks.
Yes, I got quite a few of them imported. Yeah.
So those are great. So those were more in the 20 to 25 US dollar range. So then you're almost 3 times what those were at that, and that's where I think that people are having a hard time. Like, wait a minute. A year to 2 years ago, I was buying this pretty cool Lionsgate steelbook with a nice slip on it and everything for about a third of what this one is. And I think they're banking on, there's so many people that, and I don't blame them. I mean, if you want to get it and you have the means, like, go for it. So I'm not judging that at all, but that's where it's past the limit for me. And I did not purchase those. I really would like to have them. but that's just where I'm like, man, I could buy so many. We have some other big collector sets that are going on sale now where you get like, I mean, like literally for the same, like less than that, there was like, or less or the same price. There were some sets that like I'd purchased that had 6 4Ks in a nice box with a booklet for the same price or less.
Yeah.
To one movie in a steelbook. And I know it's on sale, but at the same point, that's where everybody's got to make choices at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that people who aren't collectors, they're thinking, you spend $30 on a disc that you can watch on Netflix. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, or let alone $66.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's all relative in that sense. But people spend money on what I don't buy designer clothes. I don't buy expensive watches.
Same me.
But I spend my money on like my disposable income, as it's called. Like, I spend it on movies, on $30, £40, £30, £40 steelbooks, on vinyl soundtracks, and superhero jumpers. That's like I don't own Versace jeans, but I own steelbooks that are worth more than Versace jeans.
No,
maybe not actually. Versace, not knowing how much Versace jeans cost, that's probably not true. But you get the point.
But yeah, I get the point with that, and I've never judged anybody for buying them. If they want to and they have the means for it, go for it. Totally. So it's not a judgment on anybody that grabs them, but I think every person is at a different cutoff point. I mean, at a certain point, I think everybody's going to have a cutoff. Like, if they keep on pushing prices, there's going to be some point that I think everybody will drop off to be like, nah, like, okay, if it gets to $100, are you going to buy that? Or whatever, I mean, I think everybody's got a shut off point where they're just like, no, that's too much. And I gotta move along from that. But yeah, it seems like they're definitely testing out the limits a lot in our areas anyway.
That does seem like if they're almost doubling the cost of it.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it's just a standard steelbook. It's not like it's coming with like an outward box with like a collect booklet, as far as I know. So that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot.
I agree. We got Russell in here saying hi, Corey, Jimmy.
How we doing?
Thanks for jumping in here. Okay, I'm going to run through some of these real quickly, just to be aware of our time here.
All good.
Are you doing okay so far?
Yeah, mate. All good.
Okay. Sam was saying Brendan and I gotta go to the mall, and he waits to see how much I spend on clothes so he can match it in movies. I love it.
That seems like a good symbiotic relationship there. Well done.
he doesn't complain. He just sits back and he's like, okay, that's how many movies I can bring home today. I like that. Maybe I should introduce that to my household and we'll see how that goes. So we've talked so much about, okay, prices of collecting. So obviously you're a physical media collector, movies, vinyl, you got your turntables behind you, everything like that. What got you into, how long have you been collecting physical media and what really got you into it?
Oh, like, honestly, for as long as I can remember, like
Yeah.
I've loved movies like my whole life. Like I said earlier on, like I got for like my 10th birthday, I think it was 10th, Predator,
Yeah.
on VHS. So like from then, that was like, so I was born in '83. So when early '90s, I was getting like Commando, Predator, Die Hard
Yeah.
on VHS as birthday and Christmas presents from my family. So that's probably when I started collecting.
Yeah.
Had the VHS collection as a kid. As a teenager, I remember I think for my 17th or my 18th birthday, my parents bought me my DVD player, because DVD had not long came out.
Yeah.
So I started collecting DVDs, in the late 90s. I remember the first so I, for my birthday, got a DVD player, but didn't have any DVDs. So went to the local video shop. Anyone who's under 30, you Google what a video shop is. Went to my local video shop to buy my first DVD. And the
Yeah.
first DVD I ever bought, and I still have it, was the first Final Destination. That was my first ever DVD.
Oh, nice.
I think the second one I bought was The Matrix, because I think that was like a big The Matrix was a big launch title for DVD. It was one of the titles that could like show off the format.
Yeah.
So and that's just talking about movies. Talking about music, but specifically film scores. Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time. It's all it's usually always tops. It's either number one or number two, depending on how recently I've watched Avengers Endgame. Sometimes that creeps to number one, but usually it's Jurassic Park. My godparents, for my birthday, when Jurassic Park came out, so '93 again, probably for my 10th birthday, they got me they knew I was a huge dinosaur fan. Like
Yeah.
I was into dinosaurs as an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid. And then Jurassic Park comes out, and I'm like, oh, this is like the best thing ever. Like, so they got me the soundtrack for Jurassic Park on cassette, and I listened to it so much I wore it out.
Yeah.
And they, like within a few months, and God love them, they bought me another one. They bought me another cassette of it. So like I remember having that, and I remember like loving just the music, the orchestral
Oh, it's
score.
great
So,
soundtrack.
like as a 10-year-old, like other kids are listening to like, I don't know. I genuinely couldn't even think what was out in the early 90s. Like, and maybe as a 10-year-old, maybe like Michael Jackson, New Kids on the Block, Madonna, whatever. But in my Walkman, as a 10-year-old child, I was listening to the Jurassic Park soundtrack. That's what I was listening to. So I've always loved movies and movie scores. In terms of collecting, that just organically came about from loving movies. I'm not against streaming. Like I pay for far too many streaming services as well, because I love the convenience of streaming. But I like the knowledge and the ownership and the quality when you come to 4K discs of owning the movie. Like, depending on the streaming service, and depending on the type of movies you're into, each to their own. I mean, no judgment to people who don't pay for streaming, although, and equally people who pay for every possible streaming service that you have.
Right.
In our household, it's Netflix and it's Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that get watched on a daily basis. Every now and then I'll get a free trial for Apple or for Paramount Plus, or what else is there? Oh yeah, I've got Prime as well, but like I think everyone has that for the delivery.
Right. That's what we got it. Yeah.
Like the two big ones in this household is Netflix and Disney Plus, and I love that. Like, I love the like the quality, the quantity, and the convenience of streaming cannot be beat.
Yeah.
But equally, I love owning movies. Like I took a notion to watch the John Travolta movie from the '90s, Phenomenon. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
again, like, oh, talking about a Serotonin movie, that would have been this, you know, back to take it back to, I forget who asked that question. That was that.
Prince. Yep.
Yes, that's another Serotonin movie for me. I think that's a beautiful movie. That's not on any streaming service, at least not in the UK, but I've got the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I probably haven't watched that movie in 15 years, but I have the Blu-ray. I took a notion to watch it, and I watched it.
Threw it in.
You know, because I've got that collection.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, that's great. I have a lot of similar you know, experiences with that as well, where just going to the movies a lot as a kid and then started getting, yeah, you know, the family realizes you love movies and they, you know, that's the gifts you start getting on a lot of those things. So,
yeah, totally.
So we talked a little bit too with, you know, you and your family and the kids, the ages that they're at. Have you had a good time? Are there movies that you're just like, I can't wait till they get to this point that I can experience this movie with them to see that for the first time?
Yeah, we had so the first one that comes to mind there when you mentioned that was a few years ago. We showed them Back to the Future for the first time.
Yeah,
and they all loved it.
Yeah,
and again, that's a testament to how good those movies are, especially the first one and the first two. You know, I mean, I love all three of them. I know the third one, you know, it's probably people's least favorite, but you know. So these are movies that we watched as kids. Now, most movies that are old as our kids, you know, like I don't think the Back to the Future is an old movie, but my children do.
Yes. Yep.
So anytime you force your kids to watch one of your childhood movies, they always it's always a fight. Like they're doing it, they're always doing it under protest.
Yep.
But they loved Back to the Future, and that was a special moment. Like the fact that even though they didn't want to watch it, we made them watch it, and they bloody loved it. And it's now one of the movies that's in their rotation. You know,
nice.
If you know, it's one of the movies that they will all agree on. And given that, you know, now it's an 8-year-old, a just about to be 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old, it's difficult to get them to agree on anything, let alone what movie we're going to have on movie night. Back to the Future is one that they will agree on. Harry Potter is one that they will agree on as well. And you know, again, I don't consider those old movies, but they're older than the kids.
Sure.
You know, so the kids think of them as old.
Yeah.
So yeah, those Back to the Future is the first one that pops into my head. Movies that I haven't shown them yet. I'm looking forward to showing Predator to my son. He is, like I said, he's just about to be 11, so I'd already watched Predator by the time I was his age, and I'm not holding off on watching it because I think it's too violent for him, even though it's a pretty violent movie.
Yeah.
There's the opportunity hasn't kind of organically came about where I'm like, oh, let's finally sit and watch Predator. Now he knows who the Predator character is. He's a 10-year-old, just about to be 11. He plays Fortnite. Predator character in Fortnite. He knows the Predator character. I'm sure he's seen clips of Predator on YouTube because you know, that's the world we live in. Right. But he's never sat down and watched it. So like, you know, looking forward to sitting down and showing them that, like, because that's one of my all-time favorite movies. Braveheart, maybe to a certain extent. They've all seen the Marvel movies. We did a Marvel movie marathon during lockdown, back when it was like back when there was only 20 or so movies in the MCU. Right. Let's see what else. Ironically, my son has been asking to watch the Chris Nolan Batman movies. He's never seen them, so he's been asking to sit down and watch them. And I'm like, absolutely brilliant. But you know, you're not watching it on a laptop. You know, we need that needs, you know, we need to watch them on the big screen. So we need to dedicate time to do that. So like next
watch
time,
it proper.
Next time we have a weekend where we're not really doing anything, Nolan trilogy movie marathon. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. No, I agree with that too. There's times where I've mentioned movies when my kids were younger too, and they're so used to watching things on their phone or a tablet or something. They're like, no.
It drives me insane. Insane that they will choose to watch it on the smallest possible screen when we have a you know, I think it's a 60-inch TV in the living room now.
So
you know,
a great size TV.
It's a small house, but we've got a big TV because I'm in. You know, that's my thing. But I've also got a 100-inch projector that I'll use as well. So you know, but they'll choose to watch, you know, something on YouTube vertically, they won't even turn their phone this way to fill the screen. That infuriates me. But that's old man yelling at cloud stuff.
Yeah. No, I've had that before too, where I'm like, turn it, you'll see it's bigger at
Yeah.
least, but I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
even watching it on your phone? But so no, that's interesting too. That so when you're watching some of this stuff with your kids, and they're definitely getting into movies, so they enjoy them. But do you find that they're losing a little of the interest of watching a movie on the bigger screen, whether it's your 60-inch or your 100-inch, projection, or in the theater? Do you find it more of a challenge to get them to watch something like that than just something that's short on, YouTube or TikTok or
Yeah,
Instagram or
I would
something?
say it's that level of challenge is commensurate with the age of the child. It's
Yeah.
the biggest with the oldest child. That's the biggest challenge. She's 14. She's a teenager.
Yeah.
It's her phone. She just wants to be on her phone. The middle child is 10, soon to be 11. He loves his Nintendo Switch, both as a gaming device, but he also likes to watch YouTube on his Switch. So that's his thing. Ironically, the one who's most amenable and keen to watch a movie on the telly is the youngest one. She's 8. She likes to watch movies on the TV because, but she doesn't. I mean, she technically has a phone, but it doesn't have a SIM card. So it's not like she's on her phone calling people. She's not got she's not got Instagram or TikTok or anything. It's just it's a device that she has. But she doesn't really use it as a phone. But she technically has a phone, but she's doesn't really have much of a desire to use it. But so the youngest one is probably the most keen to watch movies on the telly, and then the oldest one is the least keen. Like her favorite movie or one of her favorite movies is Scream. She'd happily watch it on her phone, and I'm like, I've got the 4K disc here, and the telly's there.
Oh, I've had
you're watching it on a 6-inch phone, and she's like, "Yeah, I prefer this," and I'm like, "Oh."
I've had those conversations before too, where I'm just like, they're watching Netflix on their phone, and I'm like, there's a really good sized TV just sitting there. Nobody's using it. You can watch it on that. And they're like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just sitting there on there. I'm like, oh, that would drive me nuts. But it's interesting looking at different generations and what they grew up with, what they're used to, and what they're okay with, So but yeah, it's kind of funny because my kids are older, but I've still had a lot of those same conversations as well. So talking about that, like differences with kids or the ages, definitely you're, like have great success with YouTube, like jumping on that is really cool. Seeing you're pushing, you're getting to the 1,000 mark, here. I'm sure you'll be there before too long. Since the first time I've met you, I feel like maybe it doesn't feel like it's quick for you, but I feel like you've made some great progress.
It's one of those ones where, I never really had a definite goal in mind. Obviously, 1,000 subscribers is like a landmark. And now, now that I got to 900, genuinely, it's the first time. I think getting to 100 was probably the only goal at the start. Like when I started the channel,
that was a big deal.
I started it almost in secret. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't tell my family about it. I didn't tell my friends about it. I didn't like promote it on my personal Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. I started it just in secret and wanted to see, what would happen organically. And ironically, my son, while he was browsing YouTube, came across one of my videos while I was in the room with him. I didn't know he was doing it. He was on his Switch. He was scrolling through his YouTube feed, and he saw a Spider-Man video that I did, and his head almost exploded. He was like, "Dad, do you have a YouTube channel?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What?" So God bless him. He knew before anyone else, and I asked, and I was like, and I feel bad for this, but like I asked him to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Because, I wanted people to find out organically, and like the poor wee soul was like, he was like, stressing out about keeping this secret. So after a day or two of seeing him panicking about this, I was like, it's fine. You can tell your sons, and tell the family. That's fine. So when I started it, I thought, well, obviously 100 was like a round number, but once I passed 100, I genuinely didn't really focus too much on numbers, to be honest. I until I got to 900, and then you get to 900 and you think, well, 1,000 is within reach.
Pretty close.
So that has became a goal, I would say, to get to 1,000. But even so, it's just probably when last May, I think I started. So 18 months or something. Most of my friends and family still don't know that I'm doing this. None. It's unlikely that it would pop up on their feed because they're not, none of my friends or family are into physical media and movies in the way that I am. Like I said, I haven't put it on my personal Facebook and Instagram saying, hey guys, here's my channel, I'm doing this. Da, da, da. I just was wanting to see how far it would go, just organically. And that's kind of that was the mindset at the start, and it's still the mindset. I started it, as I think we talked about this briefly before we went live. I started the channel primarily as a way to practice being in front of the camera, practice talking to camera, practice speaking to camera, being intelligible with my accent, with the fact that I speak really fast. I'm a mumbler. My good lady is always quick to tell me that. I wanted to get better just at being in front of the camera, partly because of the day job. That was kind of, some of that was a necessity because of COVID and virtual live streams and virtual conferences and things like that. But also, as a weird justification of spending so much money on physical media, I started my Instagram page first to like take pictures of physical media, and then the YouTube channel started from that, and it was primarily I wasn't doing movie reviews at the start. It was just physical media, and then I started kind of like organically doing movie reviews at the same time. But in my mind, I was like, well, if I've got a YouTube channel or in social media for my physical media, that's partly justification for spending so much money on it. And those were the two reasons why I started. Was like, well, if I'm spending all this money, but I've got a YouTube channel and an Instagram for the physical media, that makes it okay. Sure.
Self-justification.
For the stupid amount of money that we spend on these little plastic discs and cardboard sleeves.
Absolutely. Oh, it's so funny. Not to like tag on to that, but it's just, but I will. But
what's your story here?
Very similar, where I still don't promote it publicly to people really close around me. My family knows now. But it was kind of a similar thing. I think my son knew ahead of time that I was doing it before he ran across it. But then I think later he ran across one and it was like, he goes, it's pretty easy to find you on there if you're trying to keep it a secret, or whatever, I'm like, well, people find it. That's okay. I'm not, but I still don't promote it a lot in my people close around me in real life, I guess, or whatever you want to say. But no, it's interesting. But I found that too, where this was like a good way to practice being better at public speaking and getting over some of that nervousness. And, being better about that and being more aware of what I'm saying. I still do it, but you throw out a lot of the ums and ahs, and when you're talking. But and then you listen back to it, and you then start catching all the things you repeat a lot. And
yes, I think that especially whenever I do a movie review, and I'll kind of like take notes and do bullet points before I record a movie review.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to editing, I'm like, what? I've said the same thing 4 times, 4 different ways. I was like, why? And then you end up cutting the 3 of them because you only need 1. But I still do it to this day. Even the most recent review, the Terrifier 3, like I think that's an 8 or a 9 minute video. Like my first cut of that was 12 minutes, and that's just because I say the same thing 3 different ways. And I don't know I'm doing it at the time. You don't realize it until you get to the edit, and then you're like, you've talked about the cinematography 3 different times for 3 different minutes, and you've said the same thing just using slightly different words.
You're not alone.
Yeah,
you're not alone.
Cut.
Yep.
Yeah. I would like to think that's got better 18 months in, but I don't think it has. I think just when you start rambling, you just start rambling. And then it's not until you get to the edit where you're like, oh my God, you talk so much crap.
Oh no, I'm sure there's been a lot of growth from, I bet you if you go back and look at one of your first videos compared to like your latest one, you definitely would see a big difference. I think it's just, again, what we were talking about before we backstage, before we came live, was I think that we're all our worst critic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And there's things that we'll pick out even that maybe other people would look completely past, but
Yeah.
you're aware of it, and when you rewatch it, you see it and it sticks out. But yeah, I think we all have those things.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I'm a little behind on here, but Larry was saying Back to the Future is timeless. Pun intended.
Indeed it is, and that is indeed a good pun.
Yep. Larry was saying I was excited when my 13-year-old said she wanted to see Alien.
Ooh, good taste. I was literally like, oh, you can't. I took the record off before I came on, but I was listening to the Alien soundtrack today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's in fact. Can you see it? Yeah. So that that the record isn't on, but the backdrop there, that's the actual. That's the
gatefold jacket
for the Mondo release of the Alien soundtrack.
Nice.
Yeah, I was literally listening to that today.
You always have some great shots of your turntable when you're sometimes before your live stream's coming on or whatever. You have something cool.
Yeah, that's that.
On there.
I've got a little GoPro up there, and then that's the shot of the turntable.
Oh, there you go.
So that's just a slip mat with my channel logo.
I like that.
It's on that, but that's one of those ones where, because of the day job, I use this to like practice things like that, where I'm like, could you use a GoPro on a live stream if you can get it cabled correctly? And
sure.
And you can, because that's a GoPro 3. So that's a 10-year-old, 15-year-old GoPro that you can probably pick up on eBay for like £50 or less.
Yeah.
And for a wee shot like that, to like have it as part of a multicam setup, but it's for the cost of it, it's brilliant. So like,
that's fun.
In the day job, I'll use that for like super wide conference like room shots, like like your standard shot of someone at stage or at the lectern is this, your head and shoulder shot. But like if you're in a smaller room and you want to throw a camera in the corner, or you want to get like the podium point of view, like right. I'll clip a little GoPro on there, and the only reason I know that I can do that is because I practiced with it here.
No, it's nice. Like we were saying earlier too, before coming on live, it's nice that you have this outlet too. You said not only getting yourself more comfortable getting in front of the camera and speaking, but trying out some different tricks with equipment where if it messes up on one of these live streams, it's just like, oh, that didn't work. It's no big deal.
Exactly. Like that's it. You can't, when your day job is live stream production, you can't, when you're broadcasting live and there's a lot of like money and corporate clients, at stake, you can't make any mistakes. You can't experiment. So this is where I experiment,
And then once you get it ironed out, that's when you can introduce it to that side of things.
Like I know what cables I need, how long the battery's going to last. Like I know how to use a tiny 10-year-old GoPro in a professional live stream environment because I have a YouTube channel. I would never have thought to do that had I not had a YouTube channel and thought, oh, I've got an old GoPro. Let me see if I can, Frankenstein something together to make that work. And, it works.
But that's what's great about it too, where you don't necessarily have to have the most expensive cutting edge equipment to do some fun things on here.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a trap I fell into. I luckily I didn't go into it too far, but I think a lot of us get into it like, oh, if I only have this,
yes,
my live stream will be good. Or if I get this, and it's always usually more expensive and the bigger, better type of thing. But there's so many people who are like, just, do you have a phone in your pocket? Just start with that.
Exactly. Some of the there's a Keith's I forget the name of his channel, but the Irish fella who's a big physical media collector.
Euphoria
Pictures, yes. Yeah. I'm sure he just uses his phone, and his channel is brilliant, and he's brilliant. Like I'm aware that I'm fortunate and that my day job allows me access to like professional equipment that I can use for my silly little YouTube channel. You don't need professional equipment. Like Keith's channel, Euphoria Pictures, which anyone who's into physical media definitely subscribe to his channel.
Yeah.
His channel is great, not because of the camera he uses, not because of the microphone that he uses. Like I said, I'm sure he just uses his phone. But his channel is great because he's great. He's genuine. He genuinely loves movies. He genuinely loves physical media. And that just comes across on screen through the camera that he uses, regardless of what that camera is.
Right.
It's his enthusiasm that makes his channel great. And it doesn't matter what camera he's using, which is what YouTube is amazing for. Like, you can have the best equipment in the world, but if you come across as disingenuine, no one's going to watch.
Right.
It doesn't, like a crisp, clean 8K camera isn't going to make you entertaining. It's just going to make you look crisp and clean in 8K. But if you're boring in 8K.
Yeah. Well, it's like the one thing that nobody else can buy or replicate is your own personality.
Exactly. And Keith's channel is the prime example of that.
Yeah. No, he's good. I've been following him for a while, and he's got a great collection too.
Oh, I want to visit his basement, like not
that movie room thing that he has.
That's a tourist attraction for me.
Yeah.
I want to visit his movie room.
He's got more than just the movies. He's got a lot of the collectibles and the
he does. Like, he's got looks like he's got a great one-click collection of like everything, like from movies you would want to own to, like, and it was like he's got the one click of the Barbie movie, and I'm like, wow, that's like, wow, it looks great, but like, you have that. So his movie room looks awesome.
Yeah, he's got a lot there for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say hi to just a couple people real quick here. Jamie Hart was in here saying hello. Jamie, hello. Thanks for coming in here. Russell had to duck out for tonight, but good night to you, sir. Thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate it. Third time trying. Hey, there you go. I didn't strike out. I was on the third time. A baseball movie for the love of the game with Costner. It's on Prime. So must really like it, and just throwing that as a recommendation. I have seen it. Yeah, I enjoy that as well.
I've seen it. It's a pretty good movie. 10 Cup from Kevin Costner as well.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It's really good. It's really good. I really enjoy that movie.
It's like him and Rene Russo.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, Roy Tin Cup McAvoy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, man.
Yeah, it's like the more grown up version of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, just kind of down and out, and I remember it. Yeah, no, I remember it well now, but yeah, it's funny how you can kind of forget about it. Not saying it's a bad movie, but you just kind of forget about it after with so much stuff that's you're consuming or bringing in or watching, whatever you want to call it, and then you hear about it, and I would like to go back and watch that.
I mean, like I might never watch that movie again, Tin Cup. I might watch it tomorrow. I might watch it 10 years. But I know it's a good movie, and if and when the notion ever strikes, I'll happily watch that movie.
Oh, absolutely. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to see if it's streaming on something. And Field of Dreams?
Caveman said it was on Prime, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. I'll have to tag that. I have that. But yeah, Field of Dreams is a good one. It's another Costner.
I watched that just recently. Actually, it was like a day or two after James Earl Jones died. I thought I want to watch a James Earl Jones movie, but I didn't want to watch a Star Wars as much as Star Wars. But I was like, what's a good James Earl Jones movie?
Yeah.
And I was either going to watch Field of Dreams or Coming to America, and I went with Field of Dreams because I felt like that was more of a heartfelt movie to, like, watch and tribute to the late great James Earl Jones.
That's filmed in my home state here.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not super far from where that field is at. So.
Is it like a tourist attraction, or?
It is now. It's gone through a couple different hands, and they had some big plans to renovate it. They had some major league baseball teams play there a couple times, and then they were gonna make it this big tourist attraction. And I don't know if things have got put on hold a little bit with money and how everything's more expensive and everything else that's going on in the world.
Right.
I don't know if it's moving along as quickly as they thought, but yeah, they had some big plans for it, but we'll have to see. They always had it kind of open where
that's cool. That's cool. That's one of those ones. Sorry, answer me.
No, go. Yeah.
If I was ever to do like a road trip through sent through America, and hit different like movie locations, like I would have that on the list of places to visit.
That was one of those that you could. I don't know if they still have it right now. I haven't been there in a long time, but they would have it where you could like pay and like you go out there with a glove and a ball and go play catch out in the outfield, or something.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a cool thing like that. But
yeah.
Jeff was saying, "Welcome everyone. This will be a quick video today. 20 minutes random later." Yeah, I think we all get into that have ever done these videos, but where you're like, "Wow, what have I said?" Like you said, like sometimes you can repeat the same thing 4 times different ways, and you're 12 minutes or 20 minutes into your recording. You're like,
I'd rather have an enjoyable 3-hour chat than struggle to chat for 20 minutes. Like,
the funny thing, this comes more naturally to me than trying to do a pre-recorded video. This is easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's almost more comfortable for me having you on here like this in a chat, even though I struggle and I'm missing people's chats and stuff, but I almost feel more comfortable doing this than sitting down and saying, I'm going to make a 5-minute pre-recorded
I think
video.
you do, correct me if I'm wrong, but you tend to do way more live streams than pre-recorded.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think part of that is just that's what you've fell into. That's your niche that you fell into, that
and got more comfortable with it.
You're embracing. Mine's just kind of the opposite. Like I tried to do 1 a month live stream, just like my kind of standard 1 a month live stream was, I would go through my Letterboxd and just talk about everything I watched that month. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I'll do that once a month.
Yeah.
The last time I did the live stream was July, I think.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a little bit behind with that.
Well, I just finally did another pre-recorded video, and I looked back. Well, I did 2 recently. One was pretty short, but I looked back and I'm like, oh, like 6 months ago since I've done a pre-recorded. But I think everybody, you have some natural tendencies to what you kind of are comfortable with. And then, like you said, if you kind of lean into it and you do it more, you'll get more comfortable with it. And I'm sure if I did more pre-recorded, I'd get more comfortable with that. So maybe I'll have to remedy that at some point. But
I mean, I don't know what your setup's like at home or what you enjoy doing versus what you don't enjoy doing. But the great thing about doing a live stream is you don't need to edit it.
Correct.
Because it's live.
Yeah, I mess up saying something, I'm like, oh, I messed that up, and you just keep on going, and it's kind of forgiving.
If it's a pre-record and you're doing the edit, you can get inside your head too much about like what shot should I use? What B-roll shot of this piece of cardboard should I use? And I'll spend 10 minutes picking, should I do this angle or this angle or this angle or this angle?
Yep.
And ultimately that's just a waste of time. So, when you're doing a live stream, you're just like, here it is, there it is, there it is, next.
Yeah.
So the live stream has its benefits for that, because you don't need to spend time editing.
Well, yeah, and how many times have I tripped over my words tonight, but yet it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, I messed that up, and then just correct myself and keep on going, and I don't know, it seems like a bigger deal when I'm sitting there just with a camera recording it for some reason in my head. I don't know why, but Jamie was saying she's of Scottish descent, and she loves your accent and reminds her of her great-grandpa.
Thank you.
Or grandma, sorry. She had a Scottish accent.
Whereabouts in Scotland was grandma from? Jamie, let us know in the comments.
Oh yeah, if you're still in here, let us know.
That's a good point. That comment could have been 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, hopefully I'm not that far behind, but it's so easy, I found in live streams, to get that far behind where, like I said, I leaned into the live streams, but I'm still trying to get that nice balance of like right now talking with you and not neglecting one or the other, you or the chat, and the reason I'm doing the live stream is because I like the chat in there, but also having the chance to, meet and talk to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk you up just now. It's hopefully you won't go too much, but like that's one of the things that I genuinely like about your channel, mate, is because the time zone difference and whatnot, your live streams are normally like 11 p.m. midnight for my time. So when I'm finished work and finished with the stuff at home for the day, and I quickly jump on YouTube, and if I get a notification that you've got a live stream, because I've got a notification turned on for your channel, what I like about your channel is, and I think you probably don't get any credit for this, but you throw a spotlight on other channels from your live stream. Like almost anyone that you do a live stream with, I will subscribe to their channel because chances are, well, I'll have a look at their channel, and if it's something that I'm not interested in, I'm not going to subscribe to them. But chances are, if you're doing a live stream with someone, it's about movies. Their channel is something to do with movies or physical media or something like that. So it's a channel that I'm going to want to check out. So I think, you know, it's a hugely selfless thing that you probably don't get any props for. But, you know, I'm going to give you props for that because anytime you've got someone on a live stream, I will check that channel out. So that's, you know, and that's you selflessly throwing a spotlight on other channels. So, you know, thank you for that.
I appreciate that. I'll take that compliment. It's a great compliment. I appreciate that very much. I always have a hard time accepting, but I'll take it.
Really, because you're doing a great job accepting it just now. You're not stumbling at all.
I'm better at it. I'll say so. That's something I've gotten better going with this. But no, I appreciate that. That's a great compliment, and I hope that is something that I'm able to do with this. As small as I am, it's a great way for me to get to know another channel, another person behind that channel.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's jumping in the chat to do that too. And I always say this, where it's so hard to run into different channels out there in YouTube. There's so many of them, and there's so many bigger, way bigger than me, or, you know, a lot of us, that sometimes it's just hard to come across them. And if you can have this one little thing, you might, you know, like, just, it won't cost you any money to go, you know, like somebody to go check your channel out. It doesn't cost them anything. You can check it. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul. You don't have to follow any further. But if you do, you might find your next favorite channel. Might find somebody really that you enjoy their content and will tune in and check them out. So
exactly. And I think that's, and, you know, props to the YouTube algorithm as well, because I'm sure I randomly found your channel, I think, on the live stream tab one night. Genuinely, cool. just one night, I was like, it was like midnight. I'm kind of like wrapping things up, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm like,
who is this?
Click on the live tab and see what's happening now. More often than not, you know, especially at that time with my channel, like, you know, YouTube was still figuring out the algorithm to feed me
for you. Yeah,
it was like, in terms of live streams, it's like 90% gaming channels, gaming. Yeah. And I'm not a huge gamer. Like I was as a kid and as a teenager, and I have a PlayStation 5, but I mainly use it as a 4K disc player.
Me too.
I'll play Fortnite with my kid, with my boy, because he loves Fortnite. Yeah. But I'm not a huge gamer. But so most of the live streams were, you know, gaming. So anytime I saw something that wasn't gaming, wasn't sports, and it was remotely movie related, I was like, I'm gonna watch that for a minute or two. And that's how I randomly found your channel. And it was like way back early. I think it was early in your YouTube. I don't think you'd been in it long at all. But much like Keith from Euphoria Pictures, right away, the kind of the genuineness of your chat and the person, whoever it was on that first live stream that I saw, came across to me, and I was like, I like the way that guy talks. I like what he's talking about. He seems genuine. I'll check this guy out. And then and then I think you contacted me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Talked about doing a live stream, and then 6 months later we did it.
No, I'll admit to that. Time gets a hold of me, and but yeah, we've gotten to chat. We've chatted for quite a while on between different videos or live streams or other people's chats too.
Yeah. And that's what's great about the community. That's I'm sure I've mentioned this on a few videos before as well, but one of the most pleasantly unexpected things I found from being a YouTube creator is the community. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know that, you know, there would be people who would watch the channel, who would contact you just to say, I like your channel.
Yeah.
Keep it up. You know, like there's a channel, Andy Dale. I think the channel name is the Electric Geek. He's a fellow Scottish YouTuber who's like into physical media and movie. I don't think he does movie reviews as much, but he's very much into physical media and 4K quality. Like he'll do 4K reviews. You know, like the quality of a 4K disc. Like, you know, should you buy this 4K, or is it not that much better than the Blu-ray disc? Anyway, fellow Scotsman who's on YouTube. Never met the guy before at all. But he, much like I randomly found your channel, he randomly found my channel and reached out to me just to say, hello, how you doing? Like your channel. I'm also in Scotland and do YouTube. You know, we should touch base. And, you know, and now we're pals, you know.
That's
Because,
great.
you know, and he's a guy who's like similar, he maybe a couple, maybe 4, 5, 6 years younger than me, but like, you know, he's got a couple of kids, you know, again, he's probably just maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years younger, but very similar channel. We're into the same sort of things. And, you know, even though we live less than 30 miles from each other, we would never have probably crossed paths if it wasn't for the fact that we've both got YouTube channels that talk about movies.
That's the crazy thing about this. Whether you're, you know, miles away or like us, you know, across the ocean,
Yeah.
you know, like it's kind of crazy that you could run into somebody that, even if he's not that far away from you, if you didn't have this, you just maybe never would have crossed paths before.
Yeah.
And it
Exactly, yeah.
still blows my mind a little bit to have this and to be able to meet people like this and
Yeah.
have this outlet to talk about things we really enjoy.
Yeah. So that was when I started the channel, like I said, I didn't know that there was the phrase YouTube community that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
And, you know, and very quickly I became aware that it existed. And like you said, whether it's, you know, my pal Corey, who's 3,000 miles away,
Right.
or my pal Andy, who's 30 miles away.
Yeah.
You know, the YouTube, you know, brought us together.
Yeah. Well, it helped make that connection where you just you might not have ever cross paths if
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
happened.
Yeah.
But, I was going to say hi real quick to Miss Caveman was in here saying, "Hey everyone, I do love the Scottish accent, but Corey still has that NPR voice." So
Yeah,
that's always the joke, our national public radio voice, you know.
Yeah, but I know the NPR.
Okay. Sorry. I just never want to take it for granted to be like, oh, you should know what all of our stuff is, you know.
I mean, the joke there is to say you've got a great face for radio. You know?
There you go. There you go. I'll agree with that all day long for sure. Jamie was saying, I prefer Costner's obscure stuff like 3,000 Miles to Graceland and Dragonfly. Oh, nice.
I've not seen or even heard of Dragonfly, but I have seen 3,000 Miles to Graceland. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's been a long time. That's with Kurt Russell too, isn't it? Or
idea.
am I thinking of the wrong one? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one. This is where I can show my lack of knowledge.
I did like Yellowstone. I've watched Yellowstone and he's good in that.
I haven't seen Horizon.
No, I haven't. It's is it good? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it yet, but I think it's right up my alley. It seems like things I would like. Yeah, Kurt Russell was in there with him. So I really like, what was the one I was just talking about that I really like? Open Range with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall and Annette Bening. I love that one. And it just feels like it's along those lines because I know some people will watch Open Range and be like, it's too slow, it's boring. I love it. And that's a comfort movie. I can throw that one on at any part of it and just
I mean, a lot of times people confuse slow with boring. Slow is okay. Slow is good.
Right.
Boring is never good, but slow is okay. You know,
I like that. Yeah.
Oppenheimer is a slow movie, but it's not boring. It's not boring. You know, the 4-hour cut of Return of the King, it's not boring. In fact, it's not slow either. It's just 4 hours. You know?
It's just long.
It's long. It's long, but it's definitely not boring. You know.
No, So those will be. We were talking about movies that people are like, I can't believe you've never seen them before. So the Lord of the Ring trilogy, I'm only first one in at this point.
Wow.
So, believe it or not,
that's a big hole in your movie.
Believe me, and I own it now, and I'm going to try to remedy that before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
I think I think a lot of Lord of the Rings fans, it's an annual Christmas time watch for me.
I hear that from a lot of fans of it.
And
every year around Christmas.
Yeah. And not to promote one of my videos, but I'm going to
do it. Go
last September, they re-released them in cinemas in the UK.
Yeah.
And one of my locals was showing all 3 movies, the extended versions, back to back in the cinema.
Oh,
so
nice.
There's a video on my channel, like from last September, and it's me going to the cinema and spending 14 hours, I think.
Oh, a long stretch.
There's like a half-hour break in between each movie, but I think started at 11 a.m. and I think we were done by like midnight. And it was all 3 movies, the extended editions, back to back to back in the cinema.
That's a long stretch.
But it was brilliant. Like, obviously, you don't do that if you don't like the movies, but it was one of those ones where I thought to myself, it was just like the stars aligned for it. It was a Sunday. I didn't have the kids that day. I didn't have any shoots booked in that day. I had no plans. I had no commitments. I had a free day, nothing to do. And they were showing, and that was there, and I kind of planned it about a month or 6 weeks in advance, because I was like, I saw it advertised and I checked the calendar and I was like, ooh, we don't have the kids that day. I've got no jobs booked in. If no jobs if nothing, if I don't get a random job, I'm going to go and do that. And my channel was only 2, 3, 4 months at the time. I thought that's probably a cool video to do. So yeah, so I am 12 or 13 or maybe 14 hours at the cinema watching all 3 extended Lord of the Rings. And it was, at the time, I thought to myself, this is possibly a once in a lifetime opportunity. They've since done it 3 times.
Well, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know at the time.
But at the time, I was like, this is probably like, even if, even though they've done it, and even though they've had more days where they've shown them, I might never be available to go and do that. I was available on that Sunday in September to go and spend 14 hours watching The Lord of the Rings, and it was brilliant. Brilliant. All 3 of those movies are still nailed on 5-star films. They are brilliant.
Well, I enjoyed the first one I watched, and it's one of those I got done watching it, and I'm like, why? I don't know why I had not seen them sooner. I don't know. But sometimes, like you said, the stars align for you, but be able to go and see those all in the same day. I don't know if those just hit in times of my life where I just wasn't getting to the theater as much, or I don't know. But
yeah. But I mean, I would definitely watch them. And the thing is, you saying you like the first one. The first one is, even though they're all great, the first one is the least good one. As good as
I've heard that.
The second one and the third one are better. Yeah. I mean, like I said, they're all 3 or 5-star movies, but they only get better.
And I've heard with the second, get ready for the action.
Yes, but yeah. I think the second one is probably my favorite, but just by like a tiny smidge. So I would go like 2 Towers, Return of the King, and then it's hard. It's like they're all so.
But you love them all.
They're all It's not like one of them is 4 out of 5 and one's 4.5 out of 5. They're all 5 out of 5 films.
No, that's awesome. Jamie was answering back. She said the family came from Loch
Leven. Yeah,
Leven.
So I'm going to give you a quick pronunciation lesson for Scottish.
Yeah,
so
do it.
Everyone sees LOCH and they say Loch. So, but it's Loch. You want to kind of like get the phlegm in the back of your throat. So it's like Loch. It's not Loch or Loch.
Yes, I said Loch.
There you go. Loch.
I said Loch.
Yeah. Loch Leven, Loch Lomond, the famous one. But yeah, I know Loch Leven. Yeah.
It's funny, even in the United States, you'll have that too, where we were visiting my son and he was down south. And so I'm further north, and the southern states have different pronunciations. And I pronounced one of the cities he was in, and the couple looked at me and they're like, "You're not from around here, are you?" And I said, "No, what gave that away?" And he's like, "No, that's not how you pronounce that one."
That's like the start of a horror movie. Like,
you're not from around here, are you?
From the south, like at a gas station, like, you're not from around here.
Yep. Luckily, they were very friendly and they just wanted to laugh at me
until the chainsaws come out.
Yeah, exactly. But it was funny though. But it's like you said. But then we'll have things too where we can have towns, city names in different states. They're spelled exactly the same, but the people that live in each of those will pronounce them differently.
Yeah.
And each of them are right, But you were talking about stars aligning and being able to see all the movies in the theater. Tomorrow, actually, I have some time off, and I was even throwing around the idea of running to see a movie by myself, which I never mind doing. I do that a lot, but I'm kind of curious. Is there anything new in the theater right now that you've either seen or know that's out there that is drawing your interest that you think is something worth going out and checking out?
I've Terrifier 3 is the only movie I've seen recently.
Okay.
We were on a holiday or a vacation, as you guys, last week. So the big movies that have came out in the past 7 days I've not seen. So I've not seen Joker Folie à Deux, even though it's getting absolutely slated. I still want to see it.
Yeah.
I still want to see what's that Demi Moore body horror movie?
Substance.
Substance. I still want to see that. Venom 3 is out.
Yeah, it just came out.
I think it came out today in the States.
Yeah,
but it's out. Well, today now. It came out Thursday in the States, but it comes out Friday, which technically is now for me.
Right.
But I'm working all day tomorrow, so I won't be able to catch that until probably Sunday or Monday. But I definitely want to see Venom 3. So yeah, I don't know what else is out just now. I've still not seen Beetlejuice. I want to see
I have
that.
not seen that yet either.
There's a lot I need to get from the past kind of 2-3 weeks that I need to catch up on.
Yeah, no, I was just looking. I didn't know if I was going to make it out there, but yeah, I completely forgot about Venom 3 being just coming out. I've heard actually a lot of people saying a lot of good things about the Wild Robot. I know it's animated and maybe a little more family, but I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
I've heard good things about that. Venom 3 as well. The first two movies are not great movies, but again, that's such an iconic character. And my son is a huge Venom fan. But the Venom movies are, all three of them have been rated 15 in the UK, which is like the equivalent of rated R in the States. But over here, you can't go and see a 15 unless you're 15. Even if you're with a parent, you can't go and see it. Sorry. I think I got that wrong there. I'm pretty sure the Venom movies were PG-13 in America. Is that right?
I'm just looking right
I think
now.
they were.
It's PG-13. Yep. Yes.
So usually a PG-13 in America is a 12A over here, which is more or less the same thing. A 12A over here basically means we suggest 12 and above, but if you're with an adult, that's fine. You can bring a 2-year-old to see a 12A, as long as it's the adult's responsibility. But some movies in the UK, they're kind of like the rating system over here, the organisation, the BBFC, the British Board of Film Classification. Some PG-13s, they'll make it 15 as opposed to a 12A. And they've done that with all three Venom movies. And my boy's been gutted every time because he loves it.
He wants to see it.
He wants to see it so bad, but he always has to wait until I get the steelbook.
Right.
So like he's desperate to see that, but I'll go and see it without him because he's 10. He doesn't look 15. I can't sneak a 10-year-old into a 15.
Right.
Much as I would try, and that's the thing. The Venom movies, they're not
that bad.
They are 12A / PG-13 movies, but for some reason, that's just what it happens with some films. Sometimes a PG-13 in the States becomes a 15 here, when 9 times out of 10 it becomes a 12A, but that 1 out of 10 becomes a 15. And the Venom movies, all three of them have been 15s. It's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, so Venom 3 is probably the Venom 3 and Joker 2 are top of the list for me to go and see the cinema. Even though Joker 2 has been getting absolutely slated.
I've seen.
I really like the first one, and I want to see the second one. And if it's rubbish, it's rubbish. I'll
go and see where they go with it.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned there, just to pick up on something you said about going to the cinema yourself.
Yeah,
I do that all the time as well. I don't know
by yourself.
Yeah. And I have no problem with it. And I don't know if this is a difference in the cultures of the countries and whatnot, but over here, that's looked upon very oddly. Like when I tell people I went to see Joker 2 last night. Oh, who did you go with? Oh, myself. What? You went yourself to? I'm like, what, weirdo. I don't know if it's like that in the States or not, but like over here, that's very odd to go to the cinema yourself.
It seems like there's a mix of opinions. I get both. Like I'll either get, well, obviously one or the other, but no, I've run into both because there's some people I'll run into that are like, oh yeah, I'll do that too. If I want to go see something and I don't have anybody to go with, I don't care. I'll go see the movie.
Yeah,
I want to go see it.
A lot of times I would prefer to go and see it myself because certain friends who are too chatty, and I'm like one of my buddies is like he's one of my best friends, but I'm like I don't want, like, I'll go and see a movie with you a second time. Right. I want to see it myself first because you don't shut up. And I'm like, we're not here to talk. We're here to watch a movie. But yeah, it's like I enjoy going to the movies whether I'm myself or whether I'm with someone else. For me, the priority is going to see the movie.
Yes.
If someone's with me, great, that's fine. But if I'm on my own, I'm just as okay with that.
Yeah, but I've had that before too, where it's like, you went by yourself. It's like, don't you have any friends? You know, I think it was like, well, yeah, but
Yeah, and I'm
I
like,
don't
yeah,
like
but
seeing a movie.
they talk too much.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
But to me, it's almost to me, it's no different than you're talking about having Netflix or Prime or something. You know, it's no different to me to like to sit down in my
exactly.
living room by myself
Yeah,
and flip on a movie on the television
yeah,
and
totally,
watch that.
totally.
But,
Yeah,
except you get a lot bigger screen.
yeah.
Caveman was saying Silverado is a great comfort comedy western. Yeah, it's a good one.
Silverado's a good one. That's a good one.
Costner
I've
is in
seen
there
it.
as well.
I don't think I own that movie, but I have seen it.
I have a Blu-ray of it, but I don't think they've. Yeah, they only have Blu-ray, but I have Blu-ray of that one. But that was one I remember seeing in the theater too, because I'm older. But that was one that got me back into westerns because
Right.
my dad watched a lot of older westerns, and you know, for a little bit of time, I think when you're growing up, your parents' stuff isn't cool anymore, and you don't want to watch maybe what they were watching and want
Yeah,
to watch
yeah,
something different. And this was one that brought a lot of big names and a lot of big stars into it, and it made it cool again, I guess, in my
yeah.
eyes at least. But, Russell liked Open Range as well. Yeah,
Let me
definitely.
let me quickly jump in and put
Yeah,
you on the
yeah.
spot. Without thinking about it, best Western, go.
Best Western. Oh, I was just talking about Unforgiven the other night, and
Right.
it's like one that. Sorry, if you're gonna put me on the spot, I'm just gonna throw that one out
No,
there right now.
like the first one that comes to mind is always the best answer. Yeah.
Okay, Unforgiven. I was talking about that last night, where it was a different take on it, where it didn't romanticize a lot of things of the Western time and made it grittier and had some consequences for your actions. You know,
Yeah.
whether it was past or present. I really like that one. And plus, you had Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, and Gene Hackman, and they
Yeah. Yeah.
all three were awesome.
It's a phenomenal movie. Yeah.
Yeah. There's other really great ones. So, but yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
one that
there's
popped in
always,
my head.
yeah, yeah. Tombstone is the one that like
Oh, it's
I would
always fun. That's always a
Tombstone
fun
is
one.
my favorite. I think Val Kilmer in that is just bloody amazing. I cannot believe he didn't even get nominated. Was he nominated? I don't think he was
I
nominated
don't
for
think
it,
so.
but
I don't
like
think so.
that's one of the not only is it his best performance, but it's one of the best performances like in movies. I think it's so underrated, his performance in that. He's so good in that. He's so good in that.
And
That,
that's like one of those
that's a
most.
movie. That's a movie that deserves like a big 4K restoration. Like
Oh, I'm surprised it
I would
doesn't.
like no that I'm almost positive it doesn't. Like I've got the UK steelbook for that is a beautiful design. So I've got that. Like I don't know if it's the same design across the globe, but that's a movie. Like if they bring out a 4K restoration like fancy box collector edition for £50, that's a movie I will pay for to get a big to get the new 4K of that because it's a western. It's the Blu-ray looks great. Imagine how good the 4K would look.
Oh yeah.
Like if they do a proper good restoration job on it, like that's a 4K that would look amazing.
Yeah. No, you think about some of the movies that are getting the 4K treatment. Yeah, I would be surprised that wouldn't be getting one here
Yeah,
sometime. But
like when you mentioned it earlier on, like randomly, in fact, can I grab it here? Hang on. So when you talk about like movies that are randomly getting the 4K treatment,
yeah.
you think to yourself, where is it? Oh no, wait, that's not 4K. Hang on. Hang on, let me grab it. I'm wired in. So as I was saying, I got a whole bunch of movies from Umbrella. The Super Mario Brothers got like
Oh yeah,
a huge 4K, and you think movies like Tombstone doesn't have a 4K,
yeah,
but Super Mario Brothers
yeah.
does. And not only that, but it's like a massive collector's box set with like a book.
Oh yeah, it's a big old set.
It's just like
How does that happen?
not that I'm not grateful for this because I have a huge soft spot for this movie, but how does this have a 4K collector set, but movies like Tombstone doesn't?
Right.
That's very weird.
Yeah. No, I could see that one getting one. It's such a quotable movie too. There's so many lines from that. You had Collection Movie Man in here saying, I love Lord of the Rings. I watch all 3 extended editions of the movies once a year on 4K.
Yep, I do as well.
I know a lot of people that do that.
I think it's a Christmas. I think it's a Christmas or a Christmas tradition for a lot of people. I think in part because the movies came out at Christmas time. Like every December from I think it was like what 2001, 2002, 2003. Like December of those years was Lord of the Rings. That's when the new movie came out.
Yeah. Collection movie. I was saying, Jimmy, I'm seeing Conclave tomorrow. Ralph Fiennes.
I saw the trailer for
I
that.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
I don't know much. I mean, I know the general premise of that movie, but I have not heard much about it at all.
Other than the trailer and the good, and the general good reviews, not something again. It's not. I would happily go and see it, but because I've got so much to catch up on, it's not top of my list at the cinema. That's probably one. Whenever it comes on streaming, that's when I'll catch it.
Yeah. Chris is saying, sorry, my comments are not showing when I put them up on PC. Oh, sorry. But yes, I want to see The Substance. Venom got way too corny. Too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Everyone, it hits people differently.
Yeah.
Russell was saying, love The Substance. Great film.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to catching that. Yeah.
I've heard crazy things about some of that, but I'm running through some of these really quickly, but I'm also looking at the time too. So I know probably went a little longer than what you were.
Oh, good. I'm good for now, mate. Let's click on.
Okay. And of course, I have a weird monitor. I love tech issues, like and a monitor just went blank on the side.
Okay.
It freaked me out for a second and it just came back on. And I'm like, I have no idea why it just did that. But Russell was saying Once Upon a Time in the West is great with Henry Fonda and Charles Bronson.
Yeah, that's a movie I think I've only seen once. I think, yeah.
We'll see. We might get some more noise. I hear the rumble of thunder outside right now again too. So maybe that was part of the thing with my monitor. But yeah, I was saying we might have some extra noise. We've had a couple rolls of thunderstorms and rainstorms kind of coming through. But
I've had an uncharacteristically rain-free evening.
That's good.
So there's been no raindrops.
Yeah, we've had a really dry spell for a long time, and so this is kind of out of the ordinary to all of a sudden to get some, but usually we have more than this. But Russell was saying Blazing Saddles is a great comedy by Mel Brooks. Yeah, it's a good one.
Do you know that's one of those ones where how some you'll see these videos or these TikTok posts or whatever where people say, well, what's a movie that everyone loves that you don't like? That's one.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's one for me. I'm just like, it's just not my cup of tea, man.
That's all right.
It's I know the 99% of the movie going public like Blazing Saddles. I watched it once as a teenager probably, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do people love this?
I think everybody's got some.
This is coming from the guy who spent a stupid amount of money on Super Mario Brothers. So my taste is questionable.
I love that. No, I love it. I think that we all have those that people will question some of our likes on something.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
No worries on that. That's funny though. Chris is saying Tombstone needs a 4K.
Yes, absolutely. Do you know there's two? Anytime this question comes up, and you see people asking it on TikTok or on live streams or whatnot, the two movies that I immediately think of that I want a proper 4K restoration of: Tombstone and Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I think Big Trouble in Little China that must be in the conversation because pretty much every other John Carpenter movie from the 80s has had a good 4K release.
Right.
Or a couple of good 4K releases.
Yeah.
But not Big Trouble in Little China. So I really hope they do that. I hope that that's something that they're working on somewhere and that comes out because, we've had The Thing, we've had Prince of Darkness, Halloween, obviously. But, no Big Trouble in Little China. So I want a good 4K of that.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of his have had some good 4K releases here.
Escape from New York. Pretty much every one of his movies from the 80s, apart from Big Trouble, has had a good 4K release.
Yeah, I could see it has such a following now anymore that I could see that not being a stretch to one 4K.
I mean, maybe it's in the works, or maybe there's a weird rights issue from different studios, or maybe they don't have a good negative or something like that. But yeah, it deserves it. So hopefully it'll come.
Yeah. Russell was saying, love John Wayne Westerns when I was a child. Yeah, that's what I grew up with. A lot of those. Yep.
So I was an Arnie kid. I grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
There you go.
Like Commando, Predator, the original Terminator 2 as well. Red Heat. I was an 80s Arnie kid.
Oh yeah. I had a lot of those too. I remember having some posters on my wall of Commando, Red Heat, and RoboCop. I think were some that I had, running for a little while. That, those. Yeah, Yep, you're talking my language with
Yeah.
a lot of those movies.
Did you watch the? Have you seen the RoboDoc documentary?
I have not. I own it, and I have not watched it yet.
It's so good. It's so good.
I got to get to it. Do you ever? So do you fall into that too, where we're buying some of these things like, oh, that's cool. I want to get that. And I want that in my collection, but finding the time to get around to watching.
Oh yeah,
all the stuff that 100%. You got.
It's rare that I'll buy. People say it's like a blind buy. Like it's rare that I'll buy something that I've not already seen.
Right.
It does happen every now and then. But that's pretty rare. But like I have a stupidly big stack of like discs that I've bought that I haven't watched yet. Like dozens of them. But I know I'll get around to it. Like like the Hellraiser box set, the Chucky box set. Like I might not watch them for a year. But I will get around to watching them, and I will be happy that I've spent the money to get that 4K box set. The Hellraiser one from Arrow is a beautiful box set.
Oh, yeah, looks great.
They had two different variations. They had one with Pinhead on the front, and one with, I think the character's called Chatterer.
Oh yeah,
that was the Arrow exclusive one, and it's horrific to look at. It's one of those ones where you're like, is this too scary to just have in the living room, like on show? But no, because my youngest child clocked it and she was like, oh, look at that, and I was like, yes, you're definitely my DNA.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. That's cool.
Yeah, but that's I've got a whole stack of movies that that I've not watched. Even literally just like sitting on my desk just now, like the 4 or 5 movies that I got from Umbrella, Mario Brothers, Primer, Masters of the Universe. What else? Was there one more? I think that might have been it. But I've literally just opened the box, like a few days ago.
Yeah.
I haven't even put them on the shelf. They're still like on my desk.
I have a few sitting right here too, within arm's reach on my desk. So I think that's a common theme between a lot of us.
Running out of space is my poor partner is just pulling her hair out because she's like, stop buying movies. We have no more room. And I'm like, okay. And then the postman will ring the doorbell with like a box of movies from Australia, and she's like, "You were going to stop?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'd already pre-ordered them, so
This was before we talked about.
This was before we talked about it. Yeah.
And you only can pull that one so many times.
Just like try and hide it on the shelf, and she's like, "That's a new one, the big yellow Chucky box set. Where did that where did that come from?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's Halloween,
Oh, that old thing. I've had that for a long time. I just decided to pull it out a little bit more. So, oh, that's funny. No, we have that too. Or you kind of hope that the delivery comes at the right time of the day.
Or we all need to get a basement like Keith from Euphoria.
And
just have that as our library. I would love that. I would love like a room that size to just have as my movie room. Like that would be awesome.
Oh, and he's got
very
full of cool stuff.
Like floor to ceiling, probably 2 deep.
Oh yeah, no, it's quite the. Yeah, if nobody's ever seen that, Euphoria Pictures on YouTube.
Yes,
Keith.
definitely.
He's a really cool guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but just the feel I get from him of his videos. But man, the stuff he shows that he gets in, there's some collector sets that are crazy, and it's kind of fun to live vicariously through him and watch him go through it. And
like I'm never going to spend £200 on the Mantalab one-click box of Barbie.
Yeah,
but I'll watch Keith's video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm right there too. I'll watch it and see everything that's on the shelves behind him too.
Yeah.
But Chris was saying Disney not doing their due diligence when it comes to films like Tombstone.
Yeah. And I don't like it's
a common theme with them, it seems like.
I think it will come eventually. It seems like, again, the Western, the fact that the Blu-ray looks great, like, I really hope that does come to 4K.
Well, and if they're making money on some of these others, and like we were talking about prices going up on some of the things, I'm surprised that they just like, hey, let's put it out there. There's a following. Let's put some out there.
But,
Russell was saying The Substance is on YouTube. Oh, really?
Ooh.
I'll have to check that out. I heard it gets nuts at the end of it. That it just goes.
Oh, as in like it's like available to rent digitally.
Well, that's what I'm trying to look.
Or does he mean someone has like just
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
I'm like, no, I'd rather like, if I can see it on the big screen, I'll see it on the big screen. Because I have I don't know if they have this in the States, but for the two main movie chains in the UK, one is Odeon and one is called Cineworld. They have memberships, monthly memberships. So you pay £15 a month. You go, you can go and see as many movies as you like. So like that's when I say I'll go and see any movie in the cinema. The kind of the asterisk next to that is because it's like it's like Netflix, but for the cinema. Like you pay £15 a month and you can go to the cinema as many times as you want. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, like I've had that membership with Cineworld, which is one of the two big chains in the UK, since 1999 or something. So like I'm like a lifelong card, literally card carrying cinema member. So like that's why part of the reason I'm happy to go and see any movie is because it's not that it's free because you're paying for it, but it's like you're
getting your money's worth.
Oh yeah, I mean if you go and see 1.5 movies a month, you've broke even.
You're good.
And I will go and see more than 1.5 movies a month. And even on if there might be a month when I'm really busy with work or I've been on holiday or maybe I only see one movie. Maybe I see 0 movies that month. When it's averaged out over the year, I'm getting my money's worth for sure.
I hope the theaters around me get something like that. I would take advantage of that.
Yeah,
100%. It's harder and harder for me to get to the movies. I live out in the country, so it's like a little bit of a drive, round trip and things to get to it. But I could see being able to get to 2 movies a month, and if you're getting your money's worth with 2 movies a month, if you can fit in another one here or there, you make up even more ground. So
like give me some kind of geographical context there, because a lot of time, like when you someone from like Scotland, a small country in the UK, anything that's more than an hour's drive is like that's a long drive for us. But from what I understand, everyone in America is like like a 2-hour drive each way is like it's just everyday life for you guys. So like when it comes to you going to the cinema, you're saying it's a drive. Like how long a drive is it for you to go to the cinema?
I'll give myself a half an hour
to
get there.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
So I'm not like way out, but we're used to driving anywhere to things. So yeah, like, but like when you're like planning out your day or what you have left in the day to be able to go do. So 1 hour round trip,
right?
For driving. So yeah. I know some people have a lot further than that, but the 2 theaters I have for me, you probably get there a little bit faster, but I'd give myself a half hour to get there when I want to get, by the time I want to get there.
Yeah.
But,
see, we're really fortunate. Like in a city like Glasgow, like within a 25-minute driving radius, there's probably 7 or 8 cinemas that I could go to, and like proper multiplex cinemas, plus 1 or 2 art house cinemas. So like if you include the art house cinemas within a 25-minute drive, there's 10 cinemas to choose from. You are very fortunate. That's literally on your doorstep. Like my nearest cinema is like a 9-minute drive. The second closest one, which is the one I'm a membership, have the membership card for, is a 12 to 15-minute drive. And then there's another one from Cineworld, which is like a 20-minute drive. So I've got like spoiled for choice with cinemas here. It's
nice.
It's never been a case of like, we can't get to the cinema because there isn't a local one. It's the opposite. It's like, okay, there's one at the Odeon at 4:10, or there's one at Cineworld at 4:15, or there's one at the View at 4:20. Which one is the best one for us? Like, you can choose between those 3 times in those 3 cinemas, and all 3 of them are like a 12-minute drive. So it's nice. It's very, very fortunate to live, in a place like that. Like my partner always jokes about like she would love like to retire to like a house by the beach, or like a lake house somewhere. And I'm like,
how far that is from the theater?
I'm like, it needs to be either A, close to a cinema, or we need to have a cinema in the basement.
There you
go. I'm all for the lake house, but I need a gym and I need a cinema.
Yeah.
If we have them in the lake house, that's fine. If not, the lake house needs to be near a cinema and a gym.
Yeah, we used to have a lot more cinemas around us, but a lot of them closed down. A lot of the smaller ones did. There was over the past like 20 years, there's been, well, even before that, but man, especially the last 20 years, there's been a ton of them that have just closed down that just couldn't make it. And
Yeah.
really for new releases, I only have two that are kind of close to me, opposite directions, but there's only one anymore. I got kind of spoiled. There's only one I really like to go to because they converted everything to have the nice, I don't know if they're leather seats, but they're
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
recliners, you know, and
The
you can
fake
kick your,
leather. Okay, it's still comfy, you know.
yeah, yeah, very comfy.
Yeah.
So have a hard time going to the other one because it's the what I call the old traditional seating where I'm not that tall of a person. I don't think anyway, you know, maybe like 5'10", 5'11", you know,
Right.
kind of around that range. And the old theater seating, my knees are up against the seats in front of me, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, no,
And
that's not, yeah.
the other one, you can be laid back and your feet are all the way you kicked
Yeah.
all the way out and you're not touching the seats in front of you. And
Yeah, the recliner seats are awesome. The Lord of the Rings marathon one that I did, luckily that was in one of those cinemas with the reclining, you know, pleather seats. I don't know if I would have been able to comfortably watch 12 hours worth of Lord of the Rings in the normal cinema seat.
oh, sure.
The
Yeah.
fact that it was the reclining one with, you know, the wee fold out table where it was like, you know, it was very comfy. It was very
Yeah.
comfy. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be the way to do it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I have a lot more stuff kicking up here, and I see a comment too. Larry said, "Dude, Wilk, I heard the thunder a minute ago, yeah, and I can hear the rain coming down a little bit." So it's always kind of crazy which things the microphone picks up and what things it doesn't.
Yeah. You can
So-
barely hear it. You can barely hear it.
Okay, I hope it's not too loud, but yeah, there's
okay.
nothing I can do about it. It's there's thunder, and I can hear the rain coming down pretty good right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what was Prince saying? I wish dinner break cinema exists not too long with lunch break cinema. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm taking too long. There you go. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, okay. Right.
Because I do a lunch
Oh,
break
yeah, your
cinema
lunchtime,
sometimes. Yep.
Yeah. Your lunchtime is my dinner time.
Yep, exactly. Yep, it depends where you're at. Larry was asking your favorite Carpenter film, Jimmy.
Ooh, Big Trouble Little China. Well, ooh, maybe The Thing. Big Trouble. It's a tie between Big Trouble Little China and The Thing. Favorite score from John Carpenter is Escape from New York.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
the main cue from Escape from New York. It's so like ingrained in my brain. It's iconic. So my favorite score from Carpenter is Escape from New York. Favorite movie. It's a tie between The Thing and the Big Trouble.
Yeah. A lot of good ones. Things that's always an easy one to go to. That's such a great.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying anything against Big Trouble in Little China, but yeah, that's definitely good.
Yeah.
Russell was saying met Kurt and Goldie years ago up in Northern Ontario. Great couple to talk with.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Yeah, that's.
I'd love to meet them. That's cool. My partner, like, she aspires for us as a couple to be Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn as we get older.
Fair
like
enough.
She looks at him and she's like, we would be friends with them, and I'm like, we're never going to be them. And she's like, yeah, but we they would like us. We'd be friends with them. So yeah, that's that like my partner like aspires for us to be Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Hey, there's worse things to aspire to.
And, you know, Kurt Russell for being in his 70s, the dude he's still a good looking dude. He's still got a good head of hair, and I'm like,
both
yes,
of them, you know.
yeah, both exactly. You know, I would love to have that hair at 70 years old. Like, that's rare.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's funny. Just run through a couple more here. We got Cal Daly in here saying, "Hey, Will, jumping in here. Thanks for jumping in, saying hi, Cal."
Kyle L. Daily. Oh, of course, Superman Daily Planet.
Yep, Superman.
I'm trying to make it. I was like, Kyle L. I get that. What's the Daily? And I'm like, oh yeah, Daily Planet. Oh, no.
How you doing with the?
Mate, I'm good. I'm good. If you want to kind of blaze through the comments, we'll try and get through everyone before we call it a day.
Yeah. And like I said, whenever I throw that out, it doesn't mean anything wrong with, you know, and I always tell everybody, it's like, you know, at some point you always got to cut it off. But if you have more to talk about, that just means we can do it again sometime.
Exactly.
We can do it again sometime.
I'm good for now if you are.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm good. I know you're a lot later than I am. So.
You know, I'm a night owl.
saying hi to Cal. Chris was saying slash your stream tomorrow with Darren, by the way, fam. Oh, cool. You got a stream going on. That's always cool. Laren, haha, I heard thunder here. Oh, at your place. Well, I literally just had thunder going at my place too. So that's what I thought you were talking about. We are not too far from each other. Yep, just a little bit. I was kidding, but we're probably like less than 2 hours. Yeah, I don't know, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious, Laren, do you know, is your family Scottish? Because McMullen totally is a Scottish name.
Laren, if you're still in here, you'll have to let us know if you know.
Let us know if you know if your Scottish great-grandparents, because McMullen is absolutely Scottish.
I'm
anything Mick, anything with MC at the start,
right.
it's Scottish or maybe Irish.
Well, like mine is definitely English, Wilkerson.
Yeah,
the son. He always got that thrown on at the end of them, it seems like. But
well, I mean, none of your American names, unless it's like Native American, none of your names are American,
Correct. Yeah, we're all immigrants.
So you're somewhere in Europe for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. At some point or another, some further back than others, but yeah, for sure. Let me see here. I totally lost my spot here, but Corey and Jimmy, you both have a good night. I subscribe to you, Jimmy. Oh, cool.
That's very much appreciated, collector movie man. Yeah, oh, and you've Gladiator 2 as your icon. I'm very much looking forward to that. The first Gladiator is a top 10 movie for me. The score as well, Hans Zimmer's score for that is like a top 3 score of all time. I cannot listen to the main cue from that without crying. Like,
it's
like, talking about, like, not to go on a side.
No, go for it.
I mean, but you were talking about like showing the kids movies. So Gladiator is one that we showed them. They didn't hate it, but they didn't love it. But I had just got the new Titans of Cult 4K box set that release that came out. So we put that on and put the disc in, and it loads up, and the menu comes on, and the main theme starts playing. And I'm just like, we haven't even started the movie yet. It's the DVD menu, and I'm starting to tear up just as soon as that music hits. Something about, there's like a deep connection. Something happens when I hear that score. I just like the goosebumps start, and then the tears start, and I'm just like, I can't. It's like completely, what's the word? Like an unconscious, uncontrollable, emotional response to that music specifically. And I've been fortunate enough to go and see Hans Zimmer live 3 times, I think now. Once in Manchester, once in Glasgow, and once in Amsterdam. And every time, not just with the Gladiator track, but like the Gladiator track specifically, like hearing that being performed live with Lisa Gerrard, the actual singer who does, the vocals for Now We Are Free. It's just like a wave that hits you from the stage. And it's just, that movie is amazing, but that score is special. That's a special score.
Absolutely. We were just talking about some of our top. I was on a stream last night. We were talking about some of our top great Best Picture winners from the Oscars.
Right.
And that was on my list of my top 5.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
There's a lot of reasons, but that's where, when we talk about our love about movies and music, and the scores, it's amazing how much that adds to it. And if you watch some scenes with the score removed, it's amazing. The difference.
For sure. Yeah.
And like you said, you can just hear the score though. You're not even watching the movie, and you have that going. Wow,
one of the things I loved about the DVD format when it first launched was, as well as like the better picture quality and behind the scenes featurettes and director's commentary specifically, but a lot of movies had they called it an isolated score audio track.
Okay.
So you could watch the movie with nothing but the score.
Okay.
And I remember watching Braveheart with that. I remember watching Gladiator with that. I think Pirates of the Caribbean as well. Like that's, no sound effects, no dialogue, just the score. And it's amazing how much, even though you can buy the soundtrack on CD, tape, vinyl, whatever, Spotify, even though you can listen to the soundtrack,
right?
There's something about watching the movie with nothing but the score. That's it's another way to enjoy the movie. In the same way that when you watch it with director's commentary or actor's commentary, it's another way to enjoy a movie that you love. You can watch it with just the score. It's again, I just keep coming back to the word special. Like that score is just like that. It just does something to me every single time.
Oh yeah, I've never. That'd be an interesting experience to watch a movie like that with just the score. I've never done that before.
Oh, if
That'd
you've got,
be great to
yeah,
try out.
if it's a movie you like and a score that you like,
Hmm.
and your disc has that isolated score track,
Yeah,
definitely do that, because it's, it's like sitting down and putting an album on, but the album has visual aids,
oh sure,
and
sure.
the visual aid is the movie, you know,
Yeah.
but no dialogue, no sound effects, just the score, and it highlights, because like when you watch a movie, like it's got dialogue, it's got sound effects, and it's got the score, it's got the music, whether that's like orchestral music or like a Scorsese soundtrack score, but you're never going to hear the full score for the full movie unless you just listen to the score, because there is a mix, like the the hardest job the sound the mixing guys have for movies is, how much of the music do we want to showcase here versus the sound effects of the battle scene, or versus the dialogue. I mean, Nolan's movies are famously annoying, and that it's hard to hear the dialogue sometimes,
Right. Right.
because he wants to showcase the sound effects and the score so much. But you're like, yeah, we still need to hear what they're saying.
Right.
Dial it back a little bit. But yeah, if you've got a movie that you love and a score that you love, and the disc has that option, turn the lights off, watch the movie, and just listen to the score. It's brilliant.
I'm
So
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'll have to look and see if I have any that do that for sure.
I mean, it sounds like Gladiator is one of your favorite movies. If you've got, I don't even know if the 4K disc has it, but I know that the DVD for Gladiator had the isolated score track. That's a good one to start that kind of to do that viewing experience with, as Gladiator.
I have the 4K. I don't know if I still have the DVD. That's one of my regrets of collecting. I had a moment in time where I got rid of a bunch of VHS and DVD discs that I
Uh,
wish I would not have. We
I
were like
yeah,
moving that whole story, and
yeah.
room and moving everything, and
I did
yeah,
that with I binned, literally binned, took it to the recycling center, binned my VHS collection because I'd replaced almost everything with DVD. When I started upgrading DVD to Blu-ray, I didn't bin the DVDs, but I kept the discs and put them into, like, DJ disc wallets.
yeah,
So I no longer have most of the DVD cases, but I
yeah.
still have the discs in your little DJ style wallet.
Yeah, I think we all have those stories where like I might have done something different if I could go back
Yeah,
and talk to myself,
yeah.
back then.
Like
But
VHS seems to be getting a big, in the same way that vinyl did
yeah,
has done
it's
in the
coming
past
back.
3, 4, 5 years. VHS seems to be having an odd resurgence. Like, I read literally, I think just yesterday, that Alien Romulus is officially getting a VHS release
I heard that.
from Disney, from Fox, and
Yeah,
you're just like, that's weird. Like,
yeah,
it's an odd one, like, because like I collect vinyl, but mainly vinyl soundtracks. But one of the reasons I do that is I love the artwork. Like, the alien one behind you there. Like, that's a vinyl record sleeve is a huge canvas for artwork.
oh yeah,
I'm not going to get into the whole, like, audio quality of vinyl versus CD versus streaming, because I'm not that much of an audiophile to really have that discussion with any level of like authority or intelligence, to be honest.
yeah,
But I can have that conversation about video,
yeah,
and I don't want to watch a VHS quality version of Alien Romulus at
yeah.
home. I want to watch the 4K. I want to watch the 4K disc at home. So the the VHS one is interesting to me, because, like I said, it's not like the package that it comes in is going to be any more special, or
Right.
or it's not a bigger canvas in the way that a vinyl trifold sleeve, like the Oppenheimer vinyl soundtrack, is a beautiful trifold widescreen shot, like it's, like a piece of art.
Right.
A VHS of Oppenheimer will not be that. And not only will it not be that big canvas for artwork, it's also going to be VHS quality. So, yeah, that's an odd one. I'm not sure. I don't get that, but it seems to be a thing. I think it's definitely a thing with the horror community. Like,
Terrifiers had a couple different ones. They got a new
exactly.
they got
Yeah.
a new big deluxe set thing I just saw that's
Yeah.
was being talked about today or yesterday. that has a VHS included with that as well.
Yeah, but again, even with Terrifier, if I do watch them again, I don't want to watch a low quality VHS. I want to watch a 4K. As much as the first movie is not great quality because it's a really low budget, I don't want to watch a VHS of that. It's an odd one. It's an odd one. But no judgment on the guys who love collecting VHS, because like I said, I collect vinyl, which technically you could argue is less quality than a CD or less quality than than streaming. But again, it's not something that I'm going to wax lyrical about, because wax, pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I see.
The VHS thing is interesting, but any form of physical media, I'm all for, because I don't want physical media to disappear.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's nice to even see some that you may not be interested in, but go for it. That just means more physical media going on.
Yeah.
The one I found interesting was the umbrella set that they had for Late Night with the Devil. They had the VHS tape that came with that one too. And I was kind of like, well, I could kind of see. Have you seen?
I did. Yeah. I was a little bit underwhelmed. Like, I think that I saw that quite a bit, like later, like after the hype. So I think that had been hyped up too much by the time I saw it. So in my mind, I was expecting much more. It was okay. Okay.
That's fair enough. I mean, that happens.
Yeah. So I watched it once. It's not a movie. It was a digital rental that I watched it on. It's not a movie I'm going to buy. Not a movie I'm going to buy.
No, that's fair enough. I think we all have some movies that get hyped up too much, and you have different expectations of what we go into it. But I could see that one, the VHS lending itself well to the way that was filmed.
Yeah.
It had, the 4:3 kind of aspect ratio, and the kind of they filmed it like a 70s style.
I can see that. Show. I can see that.
Yeah. Got Chris maybe checking out, saying great stream as always, Corey. Thank you, sir. Got Bob in here. Bob's Blueberry say, hey Corey, maybe that beard though. Maybe that's what you're talking about. This is newer. Maybe that's what you're talking about. The Bears. Maybe you're a Chicago fan for the Bears. You're talking about.
Is that like a sports thing?
I don't know. It could be. It could be, but maybe that's what he meant. I don't know. K-Man was saying Blazing Saddles, keep the beans away from Mongo. Yep.
Yeah, nope. Don't get it, man. Nope. It's just not.
Physical media regret. I think we were just I think accidentally just kind of just talked about that. Yeah.
Not so much that I regret binning the VHSs. I regret binning the DVD cases.
Right. But like, still a regret. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wish I had kept most of them. Like, I've got one or two tubs in the loft, but it's only the special ones.
Right.
But I binned the standard Amory DVD cases. I wish I'd kept them, because one day I'll win the lottery and I'll have a massive mansion and I'll have a big basement that will become my library, and I'll be like, oh, I wish I had kept those cases and I could put them on the shelf.
Yep. No, I know. Like I said, I know I got rid of a lot that I wish I would not have.
Yeah.
Chris saying sub to you as well, Jimmy.
Very much appreciated, guys. Very much appreciated.
I'll say we appreciate every single one of them. Absolutely. Chris was saying Gladiator, my number one all time.
Yeah, it's on a lot of people's lists. I don't know where it would land for me, but I would say it's definitely top 10, maybe 15, but I would say it probably cracks the top 10 for me.
Yeah, it's really good. Really, really good. Bob said, I need an accent like Jimmy. Holy cow. This is amazing. Corey, you have competition now.
That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, it's funny, like, people, whenever I'm on a live stream at this time of night, it's usually, there's not anyone from the UK watching.
Yeah, Americans.
Like, no one in the UK is like, oh, your accent's great.
We've heard it before.
A, they're either used to it, or B, they're like, it's the same accent as mine. But
right.
It does. I feel like it does give me an unfair advantage sometimes, because I'm like, that's my accent, and a lot of people love it.
It's just what it is. It's just what it is. And sometimes I've had some people, like, so Bob was saying I have competition now. I've had some people comment on my voice, and it's one of those things that I don't think or at least, I don't think mine's anything special, but you have some people comment, and I guess everybody hears your voice differently than what you hear your own voice as.
Oh yeah, no one likes the sound of their own voice. But to go back to what someone said earlier on, it's you do have that NPR style voice.
Well, hopefully in a good way. Hopefully I don't like put people to sleep.
No, telling someone they've got an NPR style voice I think is nothing but a compliment, because I think what they're saying is you literally have a voice that people would pay to put on the radio, because that's literally what NPR is. So I would always take it as a compliment.
I'll take that. I like to lean towards the positive if at all possible until they really tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
We'll run through just a few more here real quick, and then I can let you go if you.
Let's with that said, we're on. Let's cross the 3 hour mark so we can
Oh, okay, there you go.
So we can tick that box. Let's blaze through some more comments.
Like I said, I just never trying to rush things, but at the same time, I don't want to take you longer than you really
no, I'm good. Let's blaze through some comments. We'll cross the 3 hour mark and then we'll call it.
Might as well. It's like running a marathon. You don't want to quit a mile before you're done with the whole thing. They're talking about a little bit with Gladiator 2. You kind of have to see how that goes. That's kind of interesting. Are you excited to see a sequel to that? Or
I am. Yeah,
okay.
I am. I'm rooting for Ridley Scott to have a hit, because I feel like he hasn't had a hit for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Napoleon yet, but I don't think it, lit the box office on fire. I don't think it did gangbusters, Rotten Tomatoes wise. What was the movies he did before that? I really liked Prometheus. Covenant less so.
Oh, Prometheus.
I'm sure I'm missing a few movies in between. Like, what did he do before Napoleon, but after Covenant?
I gotta look.
I'm sure there's one or two, because as much as the guy's in his 70s or maybe 80s now, he's not slowed down.
Did he do The Martian?
Oh, that was before Covenant, was it not?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm having to look up. This is where I mix everything up.
So the Martian was probably the last like unequivocally good Ridley Scott movie, I think.
I enjoyed that one.
I really enjoyed The Martian, but I'm rooting for Ridley Scott to have a hit, and I'm rooting for Gladiator 2 to not sully the memory of Gladiator 1. I don't think it will. I don't think anyone. I mean, when you look at the cast, and even though I'm saying Ridley Scott has not had a hit in a while, the guy obviously knows what he's doing. So I'm very much looking forward to Gladiator 2. I think they would have to monumentally screw up for that to be bad, given the caliber of everyone involved. Like all of those actors, they're not going to sign on without seeing something good in that movie.
Well, if nothing else, like you said, I hope it does well.
Yeah.
Huck is in here. Hey, Huck from Huck's Pop Culture Cafe, saying loving the soundtrack talk.
Thank you very much. That's a cool handle, Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. I like that. Yeah, I'm a huge movie score fan. I probably have, in the last 2 years, I've probably spent as much, if not more, on movie scores as I have on actual movies. Like, it's a huge movie score fan. Like I said, we like probably 2 hours ago on this stream, from being a 10-year-old getting given a cassette tape of the Jurassic Park soundtrack.
Yeah.
I've always loved before I understood what it was. Like, I always knew that I loved movie scores before I even knew what that phrase meant. Movies, like even going back to watching Predator as a child, even that score, like that, I was aware that the music was doing something, and then Jurassic Park was the game, but both in terms of movies in general, but also movie scores. Jurassic Park is like what's the phrase from inside? It's a core memory for me. Jurassic Park. Yeah,
I remember in probably more when I was in college, but I remember having a few soundtracks on CD that I would listen to while I was studying. It was kind of a nice. I had to have a little bit of noise. And it was usually, it had to be a soundtrack I liked, but it was just not, it was distracting enough that I didn't hear the things around me.
Yeah.
But it didn't distract from me reading and looking at what I needed to do.
I think a lot of writers that I know listen to scores when they're writing. Okay. They can't listen to music. They can't listen to music. They can't listen to songs with lyrics.
Correct.
That's too distracting as they're writing, but they'll listen to scores to get in a certain mindset to just like, you know, subconsciously listen to the music as they're writing. I know that's quite a common thing for writers to do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it helped me.
Which
It
makes
seems
sense.
like it helped me reading and studying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laren was saying, so back with his name. My dad was adopted into the name McMullen. I do not think I descended from Scotland, unfortunately.
Okay.
Just
The name,
sounds like it.
if you go back far enough, I'll put money on the fact that name is, it's a Celtic name. It's Scottish or Irish eventually. You know, if you go back far enough, that name is definitely Celtic.
Yep, somewhere. Okay, run through some of these. We got to vote for Body of Lies. I don't know if I've seen that one. Crow and Noah was great.
I think Noah got unfairly criticized, unfairly bashed at the among critics and at the box office. I really enjoyed Noah. I think and Russell Crowe's great, and I don't think that's the thing. Russell Crowe is one of those actors. Now there's an asterisk to this statement. I'm going to say Russell Crowe is one of those actors. He might be in bad movies, but he's never bad, apart from Les Mis.
that's the asterisk by his name.
Les Mis is that's the exception that proves the rule. Les Mis is a good movie, but he's not good in it.
Yeah.
Other than that, he might be in bad movies, but he's not bad in them.
Yep. That's fair enough. Yep, fair enough. Russell was saying Quick and the Dead was a great Western with Gene Hackman.
Yes, it is, and they did it. That's another one. There's a 4K of that.
Yeah.
Like a kind of a relatively unknown Sam Raimi before he was like super famous.
Right.
Sharon Stone when she was kind of famous. Russell Crowe when he absolutely wasn't famous. Leonardo DiCaprio when he was like hadn't done Romeo and Juliet yet. So you know, lots of like stars in the making. But yeah, that's an odd one. Like that has a 4K, but
and not Tombstone, or
but not Tombstone, you know.
Come on, people. Let's get
exactly.
Yeah, like you said, we were talking about a little bit earlier too. Sometimes the rights and what studios own them, and things like that play into them.
I mean, I'm sure there's like reasons that's way above our comprehension as to why it doesn't exist. But we don't care. We don't care about those reasons. We just want the disc.
Yep, exactly. We just want to, and that's the funny thing too, where if they just print it, they don't have to print 1 million copies of it. But if they print it and put a price tag on there, there's a good chance that one would sell. But
you know, if they make 1,000 copies and they put one of those stickers that says, you know, 360 of 1,000, like I'm one of those people who'd be like, oh, that's worth an extra tenner.
That's the thing. They just put one little sticker on there and have a print of a number of something.
There's only 1,000 of these in the world.
Yeah,
that's worth an extra £10 of my money.
The way things are selling right now, they'll get snapped up for sure. But all right, we crossed the 3-hour mark. I'm at the bottom of the chat right now.
Excellent.
And as soon as I say that, somebody puts okay, wait, one more. Prince said favorite pizza topping. I just had truffle mushroom pizza the other day.
Oh no, and no. Especially no to mushrooms. I mean, like
that's a hard no.
We were getting on so well. Happy Crotimus Prince. But yeah, we were getting on so well. But
everybody's got to like.
You like mushrooms? That's a hard pass. That's a red flag.
So what's going on your pizza?
Do you know I'm pretty boring and plain when it comes to food. So if I'm getting a pizza, it's either just margarita or maybe pepperoni, and sometimes haggis. Genuinely.
Haggis? Okay.
Haggis. Yeah, that's
a Scottish for sure.
Yeah, some restaurants will have a haggis pizza, and I'll get that sometimes. But yeah, usually 80% of the time, just plain margarita.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. We had a couple more coming here. So Larry likes that. He have a little fun too, but he goes, I must know Jim's thought on the film Point Break. Can I call you Jim?
You can call me Jim.
There's worse things that have probably been called.
Exactly. Right love Point Break. I'm one of those. I didn't hate the remake, but I really like Edgar Ramirez. So that's why I didn't hate the remake. But yeah, the remake wasn't great, but I really like Edgar Ramirez. But yeah, Point Break is a quality movie. The chase scene in that, I actually in my university course, we for the various papers that you had to write, I did a paper on chase scenes and Point Break, the foot chase when he like, you know, throws his knee out and, you know, as he's chasing Patrick Swayze, and Patrick Swayze stops and looks back. Like, I literally like used that among with one or two other movies as I was writing a paper about chase scenes in movies. So nice. that's how much I like Point Break. I wrote a paper about it in university.
That's a fun one for sure. I just recently grabbed the Steelbook that they had. It's an older one, but I missed it the first time around. And
yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, because they brought out another. Like, it seems like they brought out two versions of that fairly close together. I think there was different. There was a UK version which was different artwork,
okay,
and the USA version like a Best Buy or a Walmart exclusive. But the UK had a slightly different artwork version, I think. So I've got the UK version of it. Yeah,
mine's it's kind of I mean, it's not an actual picture, you know, it's like an artistic drawing of the Reagan, Ronald Reagan mask on. Yeah. And then I'll have to look that up and see what the differences are between the two of those. But, so, you know, just wrapping up here, what do you got coming up? What do you got? Anything coming on your channel? I know you're always putting out videos and things, but do you have anything to watch out for?
Yes, I'm hoping to record I did a Nightmare on Elm Street movie marathon.
Okay.
So I'll be doing a review / ranking of them that I'm hopefully going to have out in time for Halloween. So that's probably coming up soon. If I get a chance to see Joker 2 or The Substance, I'll probably do a quick review of them. And then, you know, no doubt a good few general unboxings. The Primer unboxing has been, I've shot it, but I haven't uploaded it yet. The Masters of the Universe one, again, I've shot it, but I haven't uploaded it yet. So they'll definitely be going on the channel within the next week. The Mario one, wait, did I upload that? Yes, the Mario one has been uploaded, yeah. And what was the other one? I'm forgetting one, like of the 4 or 5 that I got from Umbrella. I'm forgetting one. What am I forgetting? Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
Blood and Honey 2.
Yeah,
had a like special edition release from Umbrella. That's one of those ones where it's like, I can't believe a movie like that A exists, B has a sequel, and C got like a special edition release from
that treatment
from a boutique Blu-ray label in Australia.
And all you want is a 4K of Tombstone. Come on.
All I want is a 4K Tombstone. Yeah.
And Big Trouble in Little China.
So so there'll be a good few unboxings to happen as well. Oh, and I've also got, in fact, hang on.
Yeah, go for it.
So in this box here is the Indiana Jones vinyl collection that Disney Music Emporium Europe just released.
Wow.
So haven't even opened this yet, but I'll definitely be doing an unboxing of that, because the pictures of it looks amazing. But again,
that's a big box.
I've not even opened my box yet, but it's that's so all 5 movies, the vinyl score soundtrack for them, and I kind of like I think it's like based on the pictures, it's like you know, Dr. Jones's like leather satchel type collectible.
Oh, nice.
You know,
nice.
So it's like I'm looking at it and thinking, like, I think it's just like, you know, cardboard sleeve printed to look like that, as opposed to the actual, you know, leather satchel.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
I was gonna say, I'll be watching your video. I'm interested now. I gotta find out what you end up with in that.
I've got my buying, the speed at which I buy physical media, both the movies and the soundtracks, is way faster than the speed in which I can record videos. So I've got a stack that I want to do videos for, but I just, you know, I keep buying new ones, and the pile just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like there's so many vinyl soundtracks that like I want to do big on videos for.
Yeah.
But I could, you know, between, you know, doing movie reviews and physical and, you know, the 4K discs, and just, you know, working life in general, like
sure.
The priority list, the vinyl soundtrack videos always get pushed to the bottom. but ironically, I've got loads of them.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a Scream collection vinyl soundtrack that I didn't do an unboxing for, but I put a bunch of pictures on my Instagram last Halloween, and I thought before I really started doing videos on vinyl soundtracks,
Yeah.
and I thought I need to do a video on that because it's such a cool looking box set, like the sleeve that holds because I think it's the first 4 movies, the vinyl soundtracks for the first 4 movies, but they're held together in a cardboard folding sleeve that when you unfold it, it's a massive ghost face, like
nice.
like the size of your torso. Like it looks amazing, and I'm like, and I'm thinking I need to do a video on that. And then I've got similarly I've got a really beautiful box set of Zack Snyder's Justice League vinyl soundtrack from Tom Holkenborg or / Junkie XL. I think he was still called Junkie XL, then. And that's like a really like thick book looking, 7-disc vinyl soundtrack that just like looks amazing. One of the sides is just an etching of the artwork that just looks beautiful, but it's what I've tried to like catch it on camera, but it's one of those ones where it's because it's like it's 2-tone black. It's like it looks amazing in person, but like no matter how I try to get it to look on camera, it just doesn't do it justice. Like, but yeah, so lots of videos that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
I'll probably only have time to do like 10% of them.
Only so many hours in the day, right?
Yeah. What about you? Anything special coming up?
I got, I'm just kind of looking tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to be over on a friend's channel, Larry. He was in here earlier, the Horror Cat Dad. He was dropping in here. He was going to be doing a live stream, just going over some of our Halloween traditions, movies that we like to watch this time of year, things we do with the family and stuff. So I'll be jumping over there with him. And then, then I'm just scheduling out. This is like the least I've had scheduled out for a little while, in the next hour. But I also am kind of holding off a little bit just because we're leading into a couple different holidays and family and some other things that are going on that I got to try to get scheduled in. So
right. Oh yeah,
hopefully more to come.
You've got Thanksgiving
for us coming up here before too long is a big deal.
When is that? Is that the end of November? When is that?
Yeah, it's getting towards the end of November. So it would be, I always got to look at my calendar. It'd be the 28th this year. So always on a Thursday, but yeah, 28th this year. So end of that. And then I was just, we'll see. We were talking about me leaning into live streams. I'm trying to do a little more pre-recorded stuff, trying to come up with some more ideas, but I was only done one of it, but I was doing maybe some short videos of some movies I've seen or recommending that you can find on free streaming services in the US, at least anyway, of ways to kind of combat some of the high prices we were just talking about in this too, and cutting back a little bit. Everything's more expensive for all of us, just regular day living stuff, groceries, all those fun things, and just ways to, I was like, oh, this might be a way to kind of throw out some movies that I've watched recently or recommending that if you don't want to buy it, there's, at least in the United States, it's hard for me to branch out past that. I don't know what's available in other countries, but to kind of throw out ways you can still experiment with different movies without dropping a lot of money on it. So
yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Before we go then, let me throw this question at you.
Yeah.
You've probably seen those Letterboxd videos where they get like the celebrities to say their top 4 movies. So without thinking about it, go top 4. Go.
Oh gosh, top 4. Okay, so I'd have to say, okay, it could be top 4. It could be different the next time you ask me, but I'll say Gladiator because I was talking about that already. Unforgiven, I love that one as well. Shawshank Redemption. And oh gosh, if I want to be Open Range, I know I'm another Western there. I'm going to throw that in there too. That's one that I could just go back and watch over and over again.
That's not bad.
I'm not going to say they're the greatest movies of all time, but yeah, that's hard when you're on the spot like that. But but last night I was talking about some others, Best Picture winners. Another one that I think would be a great one if I'm going to go something a little different would be Casablanca. I'm newer to that one, but I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
Movies that I've never seen.
I enjoy it quite a bit. That was one of those where, kind of diving into some older movies that I normally hadn't watched. And that's been the fun thing diving into this the last, I'd say 4 years or so. I haven't been doing YouTube that long, but last 4 years or so, dipping into more older movies and international films. So that's been fun to do that. And so ask me next time, I'll tell you another 4 different ones. But no, that's great. Put me on the spot. Made me think about that. But
I love seeing those videos on Letterboxd social medias, like it's the red carpet or the press junket.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'll just ask, like the director or the star, what's your top 4 films? So it's always interesting to see what they are,
what they can come up with on the spot.
Yeah, on the spot. Yeah.
So, yep, that's where that's what I'll go with for this time. Next time you ask me, you'll be like, you didn't say those 4 last time.
That's a good list. Shawshank would it wouldn't be a top 4, but Shawshank's a top 10 for me for sure.
Yeah, that's one I always enjoyed seeing it in the theater, and I've owned that on multiple different formats, and actually quite a few of those that I've named there I've owned on multiple different formats.
Oh, okay. So I know we're supposed to be wrapping things up, but let me
whatever. Yeah, go for it.
Let me throw another one at you then. What's the movie that you have bought the most versions of?
Right now I think Unforgiven. Oh, no. That's not correct. That just changed this year. The Crow.
Really?
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been that many releases of that.
No, but I think what got me is I bought this year when they released it, there was 2 different steel books and a slipcover, and I bought all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So that kind of put it over. So if you're not going to count those, Unforgiven had the lead up until that point. There was, but for both of those, I had VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, but then and I have a 4K of Unforgiven now too. I still think The Crow took the win there, because when they had the 4K, they had those 3 different releases, and I ended up buying all 3 of them, which that's not a normal thing for me to do.
What was the third 4K release? Because I know there was, because I bought the 2 steelbooks as well, the 2 different steelbooks with the 2 different slipcovers. What was the third one? Was that just the standard 4K Amory?
Well, there's 2 steelbooks and then a slipcover.
Oh, the slipcover, right? Okay,
yep.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep. So I actually have them right here, but I got some slipcovers on them. But there was that. Yeah. And then
so I've got the 2 steelbooks. Yeah.
Those.
That one's my favorite.
And then the slip.
That's the one. So I don't have that. So like the Crow is a not a top 10, but like as a favorite movie of mine that I've got those 2 steelbooks. I've got the standard Blu-ray steelbook that I don't think was released in the US. That's a good looking steelbook as well. I don't have it to hand, but it's the traditional poster artwork that's on the steelbook. I've got the Region 1 DVD of it, plus the Region, the US DVD of it. I've got the Region 2 UK DVD of it. I've also got a multi-disc DVD of it that had the sequel on it as well.
Oh, yep.
So I do, one disc that's got The Crow and The Crow City of Angels on it. And I've also got the soundtrack on two CD versions of the soundtrack, and the score soundtrack on vinyl, and the song soundtrack on vinyl as well. So as much as I'm saying like The Crow is not like my all-time favorite movie, I have, between the soundtrack and the movie, I have a lot of copies of The Crow. I've got a lot of Crow merch.
That's where I'm at too, that's where that put me over, where, I had the VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, and then these 3 came out. Yeah. So that put it at 6. So I think this one's in the lead for me right now. And I agree with you too. I have a couple of soundtracks. I have on CD, I have the soundtrack for the original movie, but then I also have the soundtrack for Salvation, I think it was.
That's a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I have that one as well.
Yeah, that's one of those movies where the soundtrack is better than the movie.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you completely.
Like, remember the sequel to Interview with a Vampire that they did, called The Vampire List, Queen of the Damned?
Oh yeah.
So, not a great, terrible movie.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack is awesome. The soundtrack is brilliant, but it's a terrible movie.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, again, now this is my turn to say, I know we're wrapping up, but look who I see jumping in here saying,
how are you doing, my man? You're up late as well.
Yeah.
You probably missed a lot. Your ears must have been burning, Keith.
We were talking about you.
You've been mentioned a few times. All good stuff. All good stuff. Basically, we're jealous of your basement room, and we want to come and visit you.
Yeah, basically, you're too nice and you have too many cool things. That's
Yeah.
what we did. We decided you're too nice and have too many cool things. No,
Yeah.
no, all good things. Very cool for you to drop in and say hi. I appreciate it very much. But that being said, I know we made it past the 3-hour mark.
We did. That's an achievement.
I would love to. I think this is one of those things that we could pick up and talk again sometime.
100%. Let's not wait 6 months this time, though.
I will be better about that, because I believe that we both had that we should do this sometime, and yeah, 6
let's
months later.
definitely let's agree to jump on a stream together again before the end of the year.
Let's do it.
So
I'll write it down.
I'll have you on my channel before the end of the year. Let's do that.
I'll do it for sure. Let me know.
Cool.
I'll do that, and make sure it's a time that works for you. Because like I said, I hate that. I appreciate you so much being flexible with the time. I know we moved a little bit for this one.
No worries. It's all good. It's all good.
I appreciate it. You know, the whole work thing always likes to throw a wrench into things at the last minute. So, but no, I appreciate it. You know, I'd take you up on that for sure. Just let me know, and I'll jump on there. But hang on for just a bit after we go off live here. But everybody that's been in the chat, you guys have been awesome as always, throwing comments out there, keeping it going, making it hard for me. I know I miss comments, and some of you reminded me of that, and that's okay. I appreciate it. I apologize, but that's where you guys are awesome, where you're throwing out things so fast. It's a hard time for me to keep up with everything and to keep my mind turning with what I'm actually saying out loud and talking with Jimmy on here. So appreciate every single one of you, whether you're in here the whole time, a little bit of it, or if you're jumping into a replay of this. It's very much appreciated. Love you all, and I hope you all have a good night and a safe one, and we'll talk to y'all here really soon. So,
thanks very much, guys.